Alright, what up? Hello. You'll probably hear that I'm sounding a little worse than yesterday. For some reason I've woken up like a little bit more bunged up than I was yesterday, which is not ideal. That's potentially a bad sign. I'm just gonna keep doing what I'm doing. I'm just gonna keep doing what I'm doing. But yeah, no, it's not a good sign so far. So yeah, we'll see. But hopefully everyone's doing well tonight. I think I'm a little bit under the weather still. I think I've got to be a little careful. So I'm not sure how many times I'm going to attempt this run, considering how evil Lad has been over the past few months. This might not be a very long attempt, but we'll see. But yeah, no, my nasal passages are all bunged up. I'm not exactly feeling 100% today, so we'll see. I also wouldn't mind doing some metaphor afterwards. Carry on with that. Because yesterday was supposed to be my day off, but we obviously covered the new Pirate Yakuza trailer, which good trailer. That was everything that I was essentially after with that. In terms of, you know, I wanted to see, like, I knew we wouldn't see like stuff in depth. I wanted to see, you know, what like the traversal looked like, what the ship combat looked like, and yeah, we got both of those. So yep, I'm happy with that. We got obviously a little bit more than that. We now know one of the boss fights in the game, which that's one of those things that would have been a nice surprise. But if you ever watch trailers, that's something you're gonna get a spoiler for. So yeah, so yeah, there we go. It is what it is. Yeah, I thought, like, I don't think I've done speedrunning in, like, 2 weeks because of the fact that I've had this, like, horrific flu. So I just thought I'd go with something a little more on the familiar side, even if it is a little evil at points, trying to get a run going, blah, blah, blah. So, yeah, no, I thought we'd just go with some LAD. Go with some good old LAD and just have a good time, hopefully. I haven't played it in a month, according to Steam, so that's good. Yeah, that's great. So yeah, we'll see. We'll see. I'm excited. I'm excited. I still love this run. This is inspired a little bit by a post online from friend of the stream, PMC Trilogy, who, like, was like, hey, like, you know, Speed Friends, 4 favorite speed games, and it's like I had to think quite hard about that. The only one that I didn't have to think hard about was Titanfall 2, because Titanfall 2 for me is like never in a million years gonna get replaced in terms of like probably being like my absolute favorite, if not like in my opinion one of the best speedruns like I've ever done. Like it's so good, lad. Thanks. I took forever to start up there. So yeah, no, with that list, it was super easy to suggest like Titanfall 2, because like again, I haven't done it in a long time, but like even watching it, Titanfall 2 is just it's one of the best speedruns of all time. Like I don't even have to think twice about it. It's so good. It's genuinely so good. And then yeah, I was thinking of like other stuff on there, and like at the minute, Deadly Premonition. That's my comfort. That's my comfy run at the minute. I do still adore the shit out of Deadly Premonition, which has only gotten better with the really complicated out of bounds we've got now. Which again, as said, I'm getting a Deadly Premonition chat. We do need to do some DP this weekend into next week, because I will be doing DP or GDQ hotfix next week. So look forward to that. So I need to hardcore derust DP again. Wouldn't have had to if I didn't get the flu, but I'm gonna have to derust DP again. So look forward to DP coming back in the next couple of days. And then for games 3 and 4, it was kind of like, well, I should have a Yakuza game on there, and if there's any game that I need to, like, you know, that I've like always done, always enjoyed, even if it has been an evil fuck the last couple of months, it's Lad. It's just Lad. Like the amount of like actual like time and effort I've put into this run is absurd. So yeah, I'd say it was an easy choice on Lad, but I did have some other things in mind. I had K2 in mind, but I haven't really done K2 in a while, and I gotta get used to being in the Crash Gang now for K2. I adore 5. like 5 is just really long. Like there's a lot of Yakuza runs that I really like. I really like 0. That's my Zero at the minute is my comfy Yakuza run. Like that should be the one I'm doing tonight, to be honest. But it's a lad night, I think. Just get shit on by RNG and then go play some Metaphor. But yeah, no, the fourth game. The fourth game was an interesting one because I had Mullet Mad Jack in mind. So obviously been really enjoying Mullet Mad Jack recently. But it was like, the more I thought about it and the more practice I was doing for it before Blue Time, and obviously like doing it for like GDQ submissions, I really am falling for Sleeping Dog Speedrun. Like I'm really falling for Sleeping Dog Speedrun. So yeah. So yeah, we'll see. Those are my 4 at the minute. So those are my 4 favorite like runs to like either like do or watch. Mostly do at the minute. So Titanfall 2, Deadly Premonition, Lad, and Sleeping Dogs. If it was speedruns to watch, that would be a very
Night Out with the Lad.
Different list. It would absolutely have Titanfall 2 still on it because Titanfall 2 is just immense. That's what I put on the to watch list. I'd put Elden Ring on there because I've been watching a lot of like Elden Ring stuff in terms of, like randomizers, speedruns, bingo, blah blah blah. Like I'd definitely have Elden Ring on that list. I would have a Yakuza on there, but I'm trying to think of which Yakuza. It'd probably be either OG1 or OG2 at the minute, in terms of I enjoy watching it more than doing it. And that's not because of the runs being bad or anything like that. It's just because, oh my god, fucking OG2 can be very, very evil if it wants to be, and so can OG1. So I enjoy watching those and not trying to deal with OG2's brass knuckle drops. And for a 4th run, I like watching instead of doing it at the minute. That's a hard one. Because I watch a lot of different stuff. I had something in mind, but I can't remember what it is anymore. Yeah, there's definitely a 4th. I just can't think of what it is at the minute. Yeah, a whole bunch of tea on my my mustache. If you weren't here for the stream yesterday, with the Xbox partner preview with the Pirate Yakuza trailer, I've had a little bit of an issue where, obviously, where I've had the flu for like 2 weeks, and I've been like sick as fuck, and I still kind of am. I haven't exactly been, you know, trimming the bush on the face that much. So the issue is my mustache has gotten very, very long to the point of being far too fucking long. So yeah, I went to use my mustache trimmer and that shit's dead. Like it's not dead as in the batteries need to replace. That shit's dead. So yeah, no. Fuck. So I need to. I bought a new mustache beard trimmer, but it's not getting here until tomorrow. So fuck. I gotta deal with this for another day where it's just gonna drip off my mustache. But like my mustache is like really long at the minute. It's really bad. It's really fucking bad. Yeah, sorry for the sniveling today. I'm still pretty sick. Anyway, Nardico, thank you very much for the 252 months. Formidable Frog, thank you for the year of support. Thank you very, very much. SUO1, thank you for the 43. Paraffin, thank you for the 4. And I am Spada, thank you for the 29. Yeah, we started Metaphor on stream, like 3 days ago. We've done like 2 streams of it. We've just beaten like I assume the first major dungeon. Very good. Very, very good. Very, very good. You're probably also here today as well. I'm actually quite tired. I said, and I say this every time I get like sick and I get off of being sick, there's like a period where my body is like, all right, motherfucker, you are sleeping for 12 hours. Today's that day. And I force myself awake because I have got a busy couple of days coming up. I've got to be awake tomorrow for said GDQ Tech check for the Deadly Premonition run next week. And something else, which I'm not sure if I'm allowed to mention just yet, so I won't. And then obviously tomorrow should be a normal stream. Tomorrow should be speedrun stream. tomorrow's Saturday, right? Yeah, tomorrow should be normal stream. Sunday, I don't know. Sunday might be the day off. Monday, if it's not Sunday that's the day off, it'll be Monday the day off. Tuesday, Wednesday will be normal. Thursday is normally the day off. Thursday is normally the guaranteed day off because I'm hanging out with IRL friends, but most of them aren't available on Thursday, and there's a slight little issue as well. One that I did not foresee ahead of time. Kiwami Switch is actually out on the 24th, which is Thursday. Which is my day off. Fuck. So, I would like to cover, obviously, Kiwami Switch. So, I am highly likely going to be doing a stream on Thursday of next week with Kiwami Switch. Because I'm excited for that. I would like to check that out. I'm hoping that it's a good port. I'd like people to, you know, go out and buy Kiwami on Switch. So I want to, you know, create content for it. I want to, like see what the game is like and, you know, just cover it on the stream and hopefully get people to buy it. That'd be great. And then... yeah, and then after that, I'll figure out, like, I might just have a Friday off for once. Like, Friday is supposed to be my normal day off, but it changed to Thursday a couple of, like, weeks ago, so maybe this is the week where Friday is actually a day off. Cashmere Soup, thank you for the Prime game for 18 months, I appreciate it. Thank you very much. Ah, dear, oh dear. And then, yeah, it's going to be very busy. On the 27th, I'm going to be busy with something that I'm not sure if I'm allowed to say just yet, so I'm not going to.
Pirate game looked good.
No stream on that day, so absolutely no stream one day next weekend. The 30th is going to be interesting. That might be my next no day on stream because I have a hospital appointment. For my lymphedema. It's kind of 6 months cough. It's actually 8 months after the fact lymphedema checkup, check in, figure out a plan of attack on how to save my legs in the future, etc, etc. So I don't see that as a bad thing. I see it as like actually quite a positive thing. So that's happening on the 30th. So I'm not probably going to be able to stream on the 30th. And then after that, it's full steam ahead because it's 7 days until the Questing for Glory Infinite Wealth run. So, yeah. We're going to be busy up until the 7th. We're going to be very busy up until the 7th. We have an absolute bumper schedule coming up. So, yeah. Oxy, thank you for the 54 months. Yeah, Pirate Game does look good. Pirate Game does look good. Thank you very much for the 54 months. Thank you very, very much. Yeah, no, Pirate Game does look good. I'm super excited. I won't get, like, into the story particulars of the trailer, because I know there's some people that aren't watching the trailers because of story stuff, and there is a pretty big story thing in the latest trailer, yes. But for those who are wondering, it is post-Infinite Wealth. That's confirmed. I think there's that one line is in the trailer just to confirm for people that, hey, yeah, no, this is post-Infinite Wealth. Because I know some people were confused. But the gameplay looks good. The gameplay looks very good. The ship stuff, I wanted to see a little bit of the ship stuff, and we got a tiny bit of the ship stuff. Rat Race, I think, in the Teal of 17. Like, we got a little bit of the, the movement, or, like, what the movement's gonna be like with the traversal of, like, the ship stuff, which is really cool, actually. I don't know why, to me, it looks, like, more gorgeous than normal. But, like, I think, like, you know, I don't know if it's gonna be dynamic rain like in Infinite Wealth, but having rain... and, like, you know, thunderstorms when out at sea is going to be fantastic. Unless you're on base PS4 or Xbox One. Because I've seen how Infinite Wealth runs on base PS4 and Xbox One, and it... oof. And you're telling me you're about to have, you know, wild rain effects out at sea on those consoles? Yeah, alright. Yeah, all right. Good luck. That's all I got. Good luck. that's gonna be rough. We've also got a tiny bit of a look at like how the ship combat's gonna be, and like, yeah, no, that looks good as well. That looks very, very good as well. But yeah, I won't talk about like the story stuff. But we'll talk about the gameplay stuff. There is a Coliseum in in Pirate Yakuza. I've seen people, I've seen people complain about the, like, online, about the Coliseum literally being a rip of Gaiden's castle. That's the point. They're both Gaiden games. They're not going to give us back the old-style Coliseum from the older Brawler games, and honestly, I kind of like the new way better. Like, I can appreciate it if you, like the older fashion better, but the last time we had the older fashion was 5, and it was the biggest fucking grind of your life. This new castle feels like it has a very more obvious and easier to understand progression system. Like, there's no need to grind out the same tournament again and again and again. Like with Gaiden's Castle, you can easily do everything in terms like fan-wise by just doing the actual matches. Like, unless you're absolutely terrible and get like the worst rank in every single one, you don't need to like redo fights or anything like that. So that's why I really like Gaiden's like Castle, and like why I'm glad it's coming back in like a slightly different fashion for Pirate Yakuza, because honestly, I really like that format. Like, it just feels a lot less, you know, grind this shit out. My only complaint that I would have, and this is the exact complaint that I had with Gaiden's Castle, it's not enough of it. Like, if that is everything, if the number at the bottom is the amount of battles, and it obviously will because it's exactly the same way that like Gaiden's Castle was like, you know, surmised, there's only going to be like 45 fights in there, which is like, bro, I want more stuff. Like, I want more. Like, give me more, goddammit. Put in like a proper, kind of like the old style Yakuza Coliseum, kind of like endless mode. Like, kind of just like a Coliseum you can just jump into and like have constant like enemy reinforcements that like, you know, the difficulty starts to ramp up every like couple of fights, etc. Like, just give me something like that. Give me something like that. That would be fantastic. Like, there's something kind of similar to that in Yakuza 4, but not the remaster, the original. The original Yakuza 4 had like a couple of like small extra things, if you want to check them out. I can't remember the name of the video, but Develian covered it for their YouTube. Yakuza 4, like back in the day on the PS3, had a good couple of like really cool like side optional extras. Oh, fuck off. Lad, please. Lad, please, I'm begging you. Lad, I'm never get a run going for months. Please don't start this on the first fucking run, I swear to God. Please die, sir. Please die, sir. Man. Whenever the first run of the day does this, it just feels really bad, because it feels like this is the vibe of how the rest of the night is gonna go, and I hate it. I hate it so much. I just want to get out of chat on. Imagine trying to speedrun the video game. Wild, I know. This is why I was a little like not sure if I wanted Lad on my 4th favorite speedruns list, because like I can't ignore the good times I've had with this game, but I cannot get out of the early game in this run. I've been trying for months and I just can't anymore. Like, damn near fucking impossible. God. But yeah, no, I quite like I'm quite happy with the fact that obviously the Coliseum is coming back in some fashion for Pirate Yakuza. Especially like, you know, keeping with the same kind of like design that the castle from Gaiden had, because like despite the fact that I'm saying, you know, I'd like more matches in the castle and the arena, I do like that with Lad Gaiden, when you do the castle arena stuff, there's a couple of like missions that have their own like special little objectives, like you can only use like your green units or your blue units, for example. And I really like the fact that they only turn up once. Like, they don't turn up like multiple times. They're not like super annoying. It's like, it's a gimmick fight, but they don't overuse the gimmick. Like, it's really good. I like that a lot. Like, you can still replay that fight if, you know, you want that uniqueness, but it's not bogged down to, you know, hey, this is just going to get harder and harder and harder and become, you know, more and more infuriating. Like, honestly, really good. I like that. I like that a lot. It's those particle effects, right? I wasn't surprised about the ship customization being in, but I'm very happy that it is actually, you know, actually there. Very happy with it actually though. Got enough damage. Don't worry, right now we good. Yeah, no, I'm happy that there's ship customization. I'm not surprised considering, you know, they're bringing back the boutique stuff. Like, it would be very shocking if, you know, boutique was back for Majima, but the ship wasn't customizable. Like, that would have just been a weird omission. I really hope the mustache trimmer comes tomorrow, because, like, God, I need that desperately at this point. I need to blow my nose, actually. My fucking sinuses are all messed up today, which I hope isn't a sign that this flu is trying to persist, because that is the last thing that I want right now. Really bloody annoying. I was hoping I'd be a little better for my GDQ tech check tomorrow, but guess not. I have a lozenge in a second, actually. That'll help a little bit. Alright, back to this crappy tutorial. Infinite Wealth might be a longer run, but I sure am glad none of its tutorials have this issue. Yeah, that's to Infinite Wealth actually fixing the tutorial problem. I appreciate that. Which will help a lot when it comes to doing a lot of runs in the next few weeks, that's for sure. Because for those, again, who don't know, I have a run of Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth at Questing for Glory, which is an online marathon on the 7th. So I'm going to need to do a metric fuck ton of Infinite Wealth runs. So yeah, look forward to that. Lots of Infinite Wealth coming up. Lots and lots of Infinite Wealth coming up. Yeah, right. Now let's see if Hirotuka gives us any issue, shall we? That's the story spoiler in the trailer. Yeah, I mean that's the thing with, you know, any RGG trailer that has a little bit of story and is you're probably going to see some spoilers. We now know of at least one boss fight in the game, and it's definitely one of those that would have been, you know, nice to not know. From, like, things that are inferred about the game, you could have guessed that, like, something like that might have happened at some point. I was certainly expecting something like that to happen at some point, but it is kind of frustrating to feel like, oh yeah, here you go. It's the way you hype up your game, isn't it? Like, you know, it's like, you know, hey, this thing is happening. Like, you know. For sake. Right. Fucking great. Alright, watch the timer. Watch the time. 4:40. You're supposed to get out of this fight around 4:30. Look at the time right now. Even getting knocked out of my stun on first turn, that's lost me 10 seconds. And I'm already like 20 seconds behind where I should be coming out of this fight. That's why you don't want to get hit with Megaton Hammer in this fight, because it's fucking, it just demolishes the first chapter. Anyway, I'm just going to turn the webcam off while I drain my nose real quick. 2 secs. Oh, Jesus Christ. Ah, Jesus Christ. Oh, dear, dear. Dear, dear. That's better. That's much better. Can actually breathe again. I can actually breathe again. Jesus Christ. Ah. Actually, I'll tell you what I will do. Bust out my actual tissue box that my parents got me while I had the flu. Yeah. Actual tissue box. I can stop using fucking toilet tissue as tissues. Feels fucking good, man. Ugh. Oh, actual soft tissues, goddamn. What miracle. Could have done with these like 2 weeks ago. It's better. Okay, cool. Now I can breathe again. Now I can actually go forward with it on. Yeah, no. For those who are wondering, like, there's a lot of things that lose you a lot of time in this this first chapter. I can't leave this first chapter like 20-30 seconds behind. It's bad. I've got like a upper limit of like when I'll leave chapter 1, and I'm already past that upper limit, past that that fight. After the second tutorial didn't go down in like one hit, and obviously losing an extra 10 seconds to Hirosuka. So, yeah, it's kind of like how, you know, it's kind of like how this game like showed off the fact that Kiryu was in this game like before release. Like, it sucks because that would have been such a cool thing to. That would have been such a cool thing to, you know, find out yourself and not know about. Like, but it's kind of the way that you still, like, you know, create buzz and hype for your game. Is like, hey, what would the fans like? You know, like, we'll show off a little, like, show a little snippet of this, and there you go. Get them riled up, get them excited. And it's actually kind of funny because, like, even though we were a year late on the release of this from Asia, I actually managed to not get spoiled on Kiryu being in this game from official sources. The way that I got spoiled on Kiryu being in this game was due to the rise of YouTube's algorithm, and a very specific part of YouTube's algorithm. Specifically, VTubers. I think you all know, because I think a lot of people were also caught off by this one. Where a certain famous, at the time, VTuber, the HoloLive JP, was playing through, obviously, the Japanese release of, like, this. And, the Clippers had a great time with it, and that was when, you know, the algorithm for VTubers started really kicking off on YouTube, and yeah, I think it was one of the very first, like, actual, like, highlight clips for a VTuber that actually, like, went, like, really viral. And, like, the thing is, they had Kiryu in the thumbnail. And it's like, if you've played these games as religiously as I have, you see this thumbnail and you're like, that's not from any of the games I've played, and there's only one game I haven't played because it's not out yet. Oh. Oh. So, yeah, thanks to a certain old HoloLive JP Dragon, who may or may now not be a character in Infinite Wealth, yeah, they may have inadvertently managed to spoil Kiryu in this game for me. How the heck? Thank you, YouTube algorithm. I'm glad she's living the dream. I'm glad she actually managed to get, like, a role in these games of how much she, like, absolutely loves them. Like, absolutely wild. Like, genuinely happy for her. Yeah, I'm moving. Trying to drink tea. Right, try again. Oh, it's so nice to be able to open the sinuses again. Yeah, I'm excited. I also laughed a lot at the release date change. Like, if you didn't see, RGG put out a message onto like, you know, social media after the trailer yesterday, and legitimately straight up said, hey, like, you know, the reason, you know, why we're able to bring this game forward by a week, because, you know, development is progressing smoothly, blah blah blah. And then they also said, you know, we also want you to enjoy the game that comes out after that. Yeah, like, straight up, you know, hey, we don't want to compete with Monster Hunter Wilds, and you know what? Smart. you know what? Smart. And as somebody who, you know, as somebody who is very much, as somebody who is very, very much going to be doing both games and no-lifing them, I sure do appreciate that. I sure do appreciate that. I'm actually a little sad that because like I really want to check out the new Assassin's Creed, but like if you put Pirate Yakuza on the same day as Assassin's Creed, I'm absolutely 200% going to be playing Pirate Yakuza. I'll get to AC at another time. Like 100% my focus is just fully on Pirate Yakuza. Honestly, massive thing. But yeah, no, I'm glad they brought the date forward because I was actually trying to like think how I'm gonna split my time up between both Pirate Yakuza and Monster Hunter Wilds. Because I have a group that's gonna want me to do Monster Hunter Wilds with them. I don't know if I'm gonna do it on stream or not. Like, I did do back when it came out. I did do a little bit of Monster Hunter World on stream, but like the thing is with like Monster Hunter and especially with Wilds coming out, like it's gonna be one of the biggest releases of the year. So people are gonna want to play themselves, but also every streamer and their mother is gonna be doing Monster Hunter Wilds. So like all the big streamers are gonna be doing it. So anybody who's like my size or like smaller is just gonna get completely drowned out in that sea of like, you know, big content creators. So it's like the numbers for Monster Hunter Wilds if I stream it are gonna be very bad. Terrible. So I might not stream Monster Hunter Wilds, and I'll just at that point I'll probably be starting speedrunning Pirate Yakuza or like the routing for Pirate Yakuza. So I'll probably just be focusing on that. Yeah, I'll probably just be focusing on that, to be honest. Oh. Games last year also delayed the release because the month was just too full. Alan Wake 2 is one of those games, yeah. Speaking of, Alan Wake 2 DLC next week. Very excited for that. That's not something I'm going to do on stream, but like I very, very much liked Alan Wake 2. So I'm looking forward to that. It sounds like it's going to have like a big kind of focus on the control universe aspect side of things as well, which is good. Hoping for a nice little hint towards Control 2. I do feel kind of bad for Remedy as well, because they showed off their 3-person player versus enemy game yesterday. Firebreak, I think it's called. And, like, it's one of those things where, like, the response isn't overwhelmingly negative. Like, some things are. Like, Blind Fire's getting a lot of the shit because it's just, like, you know, like, it just seems like a very generic, like, you know, first-person arena shooter, kind of like, you know, pretty much everything else out there that doesn't really have that big of a hook. It's like Remedy are getting the shit for, like, trying something new, and it's like they didn't really help themselves with the statement they put out, because, like, the first thing in their statement is like, yeah, we're still making compelling, like, single-player, like, narrative games, and it's like, it's that kind of, like, negative, like, approach to it that's like, you know, you're already telling people, yeah, this isn't what you want to see. Like, it's like, you know, yeah, we know this isn't what you want to see, but we're gonna do it anyway, and it's like, I don't think people like that, so, yeah. So, that's not ideal. It's not ideal at all. It's also that weird thing where it's like 3 players, and it's like, I don't know where this rise of 3-player co-op came from. Because, like, back in my day, it was always like 4 players, etc. Like, I have a very big, like, 4-player group that does things. So 3 players is just kind of awful. Yeah, good. That was a bit risky. Risky. Should've done that one. Shouldn't have done that one. That was my fault. That's what I was hoping to do, was grab the ashtray and then hit the other guy with it, but it's pretty bad. It's my timing, like, to start ideally. 8 minutes. It's not good. That's probably a bit too far gone, but I might just try and get to chapter 2 anyway, because I'm tired of resetting already. Chapter 1 is being a fuck tonight, so. Because like my upper limit for leaving chapter 1 is like 8:30, but this is going to be over 8:30 for sure. So this one there is good. That means I'm free to go this way. Ugh. 33? Yeah, that's pretty bad. I'm going to carry on anyway, but... Good. Not happy, but I don't want to keep restarting, so... I can feel the Left 4 Dead gap, you're on board. It's kind of funny, me and my friends actually played Left 4 Dead 2 the other day, which I haven't played for like a good like 6-7 years. Like, holy shit. Like, the amount of technical difficulties trying to get that going was ridiculous. Like, that game is still good when you can get it going, but like, to get it going took so fucking long. I did not expect Left 4 Dead 2 to have as many technical difficulties as it did, but goddamn did it ever. Makes me sad that we never got a Left 4 Dead 3. Like, even if Left 4 Dead 3 was, you know, the same kind of thing as Left 4 Dead 2 with, like, you know, the campaigns of, like, Left 4 Dead 1 and 2 included, and then a couple of new maps and characters, still would have been good. Still would have been very good. Bad start. Bad start. Bad start. Neon King, have a good night. Spawns. On. Good. Yeah, we'll likely, as I said, do we'll likely do a Sleeping Dogs run at some point this week, because I would like to do a proper run that I'm actually actually proud of, like try and get my time like nearer to a 3:30, get some of the endgame strats in this time. I wrote my notes wrong for the I know where most of my endgame strats started to go wrong, and I wrote my notes wrong for like 1 or 2 tricks in particular, and I know which ones they are, and I fixed those, so that's good, so I should be able to do those properly next time. Good. Rather do that run while it's still like somewhat fresh in my mind. Nice easy fight, always a nice easy fight. Trials games also releases a week before Pirate Yakuza. Yeah, the nice thing about that is I'm still multiple games behind. I'm not, my wallet's not going to be happy when I'm actually finally caught up, but at the very least I'm not, like, I want to support the Trials series because I love it, but I'm not buying any of the games, like, ahead of where I am currently. I finally got off my ass and finished Zero Najor, which, great fucking games. Which I was gonna start Cold Steel 1, but I decided to take like a break in between so that things wouldn't get, you know, like too bogged down. So instead I did AI Somnium Files, and then I started AI Nirvana, which something about AI Nirvana that's like really pissing me off, and I think it's something that was pissing me off in Somnium, but because of like doing them back to back, it's kind of just like really like forcing the issue like to the forefront of like how I feel about it, and that is the actual like investigation parts, and it's mostly the tiny stuff that penalizes you. Like there's one in particular that I'm on where the tiny stuff is tied to the stuff that you have to interact with to get through the bit, and it's like the thing that I hate about that is that unless you know exactly what to do, that one's supposed to leave you only like 10 to 15 seconds left at the very end. So unless you do everything perfect and know how to do everything perfect, it doesn't feel like a puzzle anymore. It feels like just trial and error, keep restarting until you get like, you know, the correct path, and like I don't like that. Like it doesn't feel fun. Like, when you have to restart that multiple times, it just doesn't feel fun. Like, it feels really stupidly restrictive, and just, I don't like that. Like, it was an issue towards the end of AI Somnium as well, where they started getting, like, obviously a lot harder, but I don't remember any being as, like, as that strict as they were in, as I found in, like, AI Nirvana. And just, yeah, I'm just not vibing with those sections anymore, and that sucks. So I've kind of taken like a backseat to that, because like I was playing through everything on my Steam Deck, and now my current Steam Deck obsession is a very, very good game, or should I say a very good collection of games, is UFO 50. UFO 50 is fantastic. UFO 50 is like genuinely fantastic. You're not gonna like enjoy every like game in the collection. There's definitely one or two that I'm not like a massive fan of, but like I'm enjoying UFO 50 a lot. From the premise of it, like you'd probably say like, you know, oh, it can't be that good throwing like 50 what is essentially concept games together in like a collection. But there's some really good games in there. Like there's some really clever thought out ideas. There's some really actual in-depth games as well. Like it's good. It's very good. I'm gonna stare down the argument. Even if we get the crit, I don't think we kill because we know damage roll. Standard average fight, we take those. We take those, good shit. Thanks Master 2, thank you for the Prime game for 2 months, I appreciate it. Action 52. But yeah, I'm enjoying it a lot. And it's also, the nice thing about those games is they're nice, like, kind of bite-sized chunks for the most part that you can just, like, jump into and sink your teeth into. So it really helps, like, on, like, the Steam Deck for that. Like, I can just, like, sit down and just feel like, oh, I feel like playing a bit of Campanella today, and then just do that. Like, do that for, like, 20, 30 minutes. Like, easy peasy. Getting some of the cherries is gonna be really fucking nasty in that game. But otherwise, yeah, no, really liking it. I love the format. I think it's a really good fit for the Steam Deck as well. Although there's definitely some games that I have like tried to do with like the D-pad of the Steam Deck or the control stick of the D-pad of the Steam Deck, and I've gone, I'm gonna save those till I'm on keyboard. Just a couple that require a little bit of precision that's just like, can't quite get the precision I want with the D-pad on the Steam Deck, so I'll hold off for a bit. There's some really, really good ideas. My current obsession is pin golf, which is literally like golf mixed with pinball, where you can dunk the ball, and it's really good. Like that a lot. It's like a good, kind of like puzzle-esque, like little game. Like it a bunch. Like finding the right angle, getting the right angle, like dunking at the right time. Like it a lot. Like it a lot. It gets bloody hard. Like some of the level design is kind of pure evil, but no, I'm enjoying it. Now the angle, damn right. Some of the level design is actually like genuinely pure evil, but yeah, no, I'm enjoying it. That's my current obsession is that off stream. On stream obsession would definitely be Metaphor, which ideally we'll do some after this. Unless this run goes all the way, which I would also like, because we haven't done a full lad run in a long time. Ah, my D-pad didn't register my input. GG. That was not a bad chapter 2. That was a very acceptable chapter 2. My D-pad just didn't register my input. Ugh. That hardball is needed for Sawashiro. I could technically use the grenade against Sawashiro, but the rest of that fight isn't going down very quickly. At the very least, that wasn't a 3-person grenade in the making, that was just a 2, so not that upset about missing that. If that was a 3-person grenade guaranteed, I would have been very upset, but yeah, no. Sometimes I input a little too fast for the menus, and the game doesn't register my D-pad inputs, which, pain in the ass. It's something that definitely feels a little bit snappier in Infinite Wealth, that's for sure. Looking forward to going back to Infinite Wealth runs. Yeah, I'm looking forward to going back to Infinite Wealth runs coming up, obviously in the next like 3 weeks. But yeah, I really need to get Infinite Wealth grinded out at this point. But obviously, like, marathon purposes. It should be fine. Should be fine. Plenty of time, like 3 weeks. Good, be good. So comes, of course, like, even if I don't end up enjoying the game, like, I'll still end up doing, like, 1 or 2 runs. Let's look at Fist of the North Star, which... Fist of the North Star. Yeah, fun fact, it is time. It is time, by the way. Those of you who know, you know. I think it was literally 2 days ago. I remember rightly, I think it was 2 days ago. So yeah, that might be something that's back on the menu. Doesn't know? Yeah, so last year, I think it was the 16th of October. It was either the 16th of October. Fucking it was either the 16th of October or the or like the 13th, one of those two. I did a speedrun called Fist Ass, which it sounds kind of wrong, but it's literally Fist of the North Star, all sub-stories. It took 16.5 hours, and I literally wanted to die. It was awful, it was terrible, that run is not fun, and I literally said afterwards, I am never touching the game again for at least a year. Well, the year's up. the year's up. Fist of the North Star is back on the table. To the point that in the 2 Jingu Wheels that I did, like, in that time period where, obviously, Fist of the North Star was banned, when Fist of the North Star came up, I just rerolled. Like, the only time we did Fist of the North Star in the last... Look. Yeah, the only time we actually touched Fist of the North Star was for the charity fundraising back in... Fuck me, was it June at this point? Jesus Christ, it was June. Holy shit, it's like October now. Fucking hell. I gotta get started on the stuff we fundraised. Holy shit. Technically we already did with Sleeping Dogs, but I need to do more. A big no-no. Yeah, I actually took 1 run to Chapter 2 that probably shouldn't have gone to Chapter 2, but my D-pad didn't input down for the grenade, so yeah. Had to restart. Lost my hardball for Sawashiro. Yeah. I could use the grenade against Sawashiro, but it's like the fight that I'm currently in is now going to take longer, and the Sawashiro fight is now going to take longer. So it's like, yeah. Yeah, just gonna restart. D-pads. Yeah, I think it's my fault. I think I inputted like just a third of a second quicker than I should have done. It's something that Infinite Wealth actually does a little better than this game, which is nice. Like I know I haven't done Infinite Wealth that much, but it does feel like the menus are a little bit more responsive in this game, which is nice. Which, as said again, I am looking forward to going back to that. We'll be doing a lot of Infinite Wealth in the next 3 weeks. Like, a metric fuck ton. I'm gonna take some time off of it for a while. Yeah, the questing for Glory Run is on the 7th of November. It's very early o'clock. I needed that crit, otherwise Ushio was gonna survive that. Yeah, it's like 9:30 AM my time, which is usually when I go to sleep. So yeah, I'm gonna have to figure that out. I'm gonna have to not be DJing and wake up at actual British time hours. The nice thing is my estimate at the minute is a 7:30. I expect to be able to cut that down by at least 30 to 45 minutes before the actual marathon starts. We now have a much more much more consistent route, especially for the end game that's been giving me problems. I think what I will do as a just in case is one of the practice runs we do coming up. I'm gonna spend an extra like 5 to 10 minutes in the grind section and get one extra level on everybody. Because the last time that we had an Infinite Wealth run, it died to the final boss because I was just one level behind on, I believe it was 2 people. Main character for that fight was fine. One of my supports was fine. One of my supports was not fine because they died in the lobby. And that that set their EXP back just enough so that they didn't get their level up from the fight before the final boss. So I think that's the reason why that run died. Those 2 people were just underleveled. They were just underleveled, undercooked. It really feels with Infinite Wealth like if you're like even like one slight level behind, like with the way that leveling up works in that game, that you are more cooked than in this game. In this game, you can make up your like your subsequent losses in levels with equipment. Like that's the reason why you can literally do the Maximus Hydromet fight in this game at level 32 when they're level 50. If you have a good team comp, if you have a good set of equipment, no problem whatsoever. Like legitimately 0 problems whatsoever. But if you in Infinite Wealth try and be like 10 to 12 levels below an enemy, you're fucked. You're cooked. Like, the enemy literally get, like, 5 to 6 turns immediately. Like, the way that leveling works in Infinite Wealth is different, and, like, there is more of an emphasis on actual levels and getting levels in Infinite Wealth than there is in this game. Like, there is more of a benefit to going level grinding in Infinite Wealth than there is in this game. In this game, while you can, like, you know, fix everything with, like, equipment and stuff like that, you can't in Infinite Wealth. Like, obviously, better equipment is obviously going to help in any situation, but for specifically being, like, that far behind, it's not going to help you. Like, it's only going to help a tiny bit, you're still going to get absolutely demolished. So, yeah. So, yeah. I'm going to make a hardcore safety save that's, like, a couple of levels higher for the more nastier of the bosses, just in case. And then the newer Infinite Wealth stuff I talked about a while back, that's being worked on. It's still being very worked on because there is a lot of data that is needed for that. That's being worked on quietly in the background, so I'm not gonna mention that stuff until it's actually you know, fully done and fully finished. But it's going. It's going a little bit more than it was in the last few weeks, which is nice. I don't know if we're looking into basically the possibility is whether it's actually going to affect anything, whether we can actually get any benefits out from it. Because if it benefits us the way that we think it could, then there's going to be exceptionally consistent like end game bosses, and everything should go down to don't turn around to 1 or 2 hits, which is wild, which is really wild. But it all depends on whether it works out or not, because there's a couple of particulars with it that are just not working out. So yeah, there's a lot of info gathering being done on that in a minute. So all I'm doing for now is concentrating on the route that we currently have, the one that's like, you know, well established, sub 6 hours, etc., etc. So then there's October Revolution. Yo, nice. Yeah, no, it's very early my time, so yeah. most people will be able to see it. When this run inevitably dies, coming up in chapter 2, I'll put the schedule in both chats. I should have a bot command for it. I think I have a Questing for Glory bot command, but I'm fairly certain it's for the Questing for Glory that was like 2 years ago when I did Valkyria Elysium. Which that's a run I want to get back into again, but it's like, Valkyria Elysium didn't do numbers when I did it when it came out. It's going to do way less numbers now, despite the fact that the entire run has just completely exploded since I last did it. Like, Valkyria Elysium, when I last did it, had, like, the only speed tech it had was, like, fight tech and, like, battle tech, and, like, gear stuff and magic. Now the game has been completely busted open. There's several out of bounds, some of which are some of the hardest fucking shit you'll ever see to pull off. So I really want to go back to... There it is! There it is! God damn. That was a long time ago, that one. Yeah, yeah, like, the last time that I did it, it had, like, no out of bounds. Now it's just completely busted wide open. Like, the run itself, like, now seems super fucking cool. So I really want to go back to it at some point. But I've just not had the time to do it in between learning, obviously, new stuff, or all the several, like, online marathon submissions, or, you know, the in-person marathon submissions that I've been doing, and the charity stuff I've been doing, and, like, obviously playing new games, etc. Like, it's just been, like, the very bottom rung on, you know, the ladder of this is what's important to do and learn. 2021. Yup. Yep, good 3 years ago, that. It's really funny, because, like, I was having, speaking of 3 years ago, I was having a look through, like, I was having to play around with the old, the Twitch clip feature, where you make things vertical now via the Twitch clip thing. I still kind of like doing it manually, which just takes a lot longer, but it feels a bit more personal. It was 3 years ago where we found out that Totsuka in Chapter 4, I don't trust this, Totsuka in Chapter 4 can thieve if you leave him alive too long. It really does not feel like that was 3 years ago. It feels like it was a lot more recent than that. One turn where stun actually matters in this fight. Nope. Ideally, I don't get any of the flinch. That's a little better than earlier. This should be a Chapter 2 attempt again, which is good. We're at least consistently getting to Chapter 2 today. That's good. Like, usually when it comes to lad runs, it's a one and done when we get Chapter 2. 37 scheduled for a new one. Yep. What I'll do is I'll just change the message a little bit in Nightbot. A lot of my older marathon stuff, I still have the bot commands for. Unfortunately, none of the Jiso Derp stuff remains. So everyone always asks me, you know, like, how do you know Mahjong? Why do you know Mahjong? There was an old bot command from pre-Yakuza 6 release, where I said, if Yakuza 6 meets its release date because of there was the big, like, demo kind of, like, leak, I was like, if it meets its release date, I'll learn Mahjong for it. And it did. Nice. Okay, sub 830. Like I said, sub 830 is what I'm after, so that's fine. 830 is like the upper limit of what I'll take out of Chapter 1, so that's still good. Like, I'm already, like, 9 seconds behind here, which doesn't sound like a lot over a 4-hour run. This run can snowball so badly with bad RNG. The bad news is my Chapter 2 in my PB was pretty good. The good news is my Chapter 3 was, one of the worst I've had. We're talking I have literally, like, 30 to 40 seconds of time save in Chapter 3. That's why I can't, like, leave Chapter 1, like, 20, 30 seconds behind, in case this chapter goes wrong, because this chapter has so many ways it can go wrong. You just go 7 pairs. It's true. How do I play Mahjong? Pairs. Nice and simple and easy to understand. I'm good. Twice in a row, you say? Jackass? Even a crit doesn't kill her. Nice agility roll, Itchy. Hey, we'll take that. That's not too bad. I do lose a little bit of time over, obviously, not getting taunted in that fight, but having Itchy get the high agility roll there is very good. I don't lose time to him having the extra turn. Very nice. Good job, Itchy. Good job. Not as bad as it could have been. We'll take that. that is how low my standards for Chapter 2 are these days. It just could have been worse. Excellent. Could have been worse. I will happily take that. Like, if I was going for, you know, world record or PB, like, I wouldn't take that, but, like, nah, I'll take that. I just want to get a run going. I think we've been relatively consistent to getting to Chapter 5 recently, if we get to Chapter 4. Like, it's just the problem is getting to Chapter 4. Like, that's been the biggest problem we've had with LAD recently. It used to be Chapter 4 that was the issue, but now it's just getting to Chapter 4. My RNG and my luck in this game go through several varying wild swings at times. I'm looking forward to seeing what Infinite Wealth is going to be like once we get a lot more consistent at it. I'm actually kind of not looking forward to the consistency for Infinite Wealth, because, like, the issue with Infinite Wealth's, like, early game it feels a bit more consistent than this game in terms of like what we do. But the thing is, we still use a lot of grenades. We use like way more grenades. So like, we're still going to be on that RNG of just, you know, all the enemies still like gathered together, all sticking together, etc. And just, you know, hopefully getting satisfying enough grenades. It's going to require me getting very, very good at the menuing in that game. Because obviously being good at the menus means you menu quicker, means you get to the grenades quicker, which means you have the enemies gathered up still. So, yeah, it's going to require me to be very, very good at the menuing in that game. I think it's gonna require me to actually spend time outside of on-stream, like, running, actually practicing menuing. Which I haven't done that for a game since this one, I think. And then before that, it was one of the other Yakuzas, and then before that was Final Fantasy 13. Actually, I find it very funny that, like, I have so many problems with, like, games on Windows 11. And yet Final Fantasy 13 finally runs properly for me on Windows 11. It was a pain in the ass to set up, but it's wild how every one of my PCs has had some kind of, like, different issue with Final Fantasy 13, but the one that's on Windows 11 doesn't have an issue with it. Fuck Windows 11, by the way. The amount of times I wake up and then find that Windows 11 has changed my fucking settings is ridiculous. I very much hate this OS with an absolute flaming hot, burning metric passion. But hey, I'll give it credit where credit's due. If it allows me to do Final Fantasy 13 runs again. Okay with that. I don't want to do Final Fantasy 13 runs on PS3 because I vehemently hate the DualShock 3 for menuing. Even though we do obviously a lot of menuing in OG2. But at the very least, we don't do constant menuing, which is what Final Fantasy 13 is. I just don't like the D-pad on the DualShock 3. And the fact that I've gone through a couple of DualShock 3s recently. Thankfully, Cubs Raw gave me their old DualShock 3 at GDQ, and like anytime we've been doing like PS3 stuff recently, I've been using that one, which is good. That one's been working quite nicely. Which, speaking of, it is Halloween, and we are getting into the season. I might try and see if I can, maybe sneak in a Yakuza Dead Souls speedrun or two in one of these days coming up. I no longer have any records in Dead Souls anymore. I lost Dead Souls difficulty to Panda, who had a fucking amazing run. I don't even want to try and beat that one. I lost Ass to Panda. And then any percent got finally beaten by Garlic Dread, who I don't know if you're still here, Garlic Dread. Did you have any, like, what upgrades did you have in that run? Because I know in my run I had 0 weapon upgrades whatsoever. I had such bad RNG. I had so bad RNG in my run. But my boss fights were really good. I know my, what was it? Liquor boss with the Akiyama was very good. And I know my, FPS killer boss in Majima was like pristine, like absolutely pristine. I think I may have killed it before even the phase transition. So yeah, I know my bosses were at least pristine early on, but no upgrades towards the end. Can't even remember what I did for Pops, to be honest. We're going to shotgun the Pathmaker and Ryuji once. See, I quite like the sound of that. I quite like the sound of that a lot. Like, I actually really like the sound of that because like. I think as you and Panda were theorizing, like, we use that basic shotgun that we buy for a good couple of characters. We, like, if you get no other upgrades, we use it on Ryuji, we use it on Kiryu. Like, I think it might actually be a better investment than Majima's shotgun. Because obviously Majima's shotgun is, you know, relegated to Majima. So honestly, I kind of vibe with that upgrade. I kind of vibe with that a lot. We're going for air zombies at this point. Yeah, like, most of them are on the way, but some of the ones that we can go for the rifle upgrades are just, you know, they're a little far out of the way. I do like the damage of Kiryu's, like, full upgraded rifle, but the fact that you need so much to get there in the run and so much RNG just sucks. Like, I really like the damage. It makes skipping Blood Phase against bloody Nikaido very, very easy. But it's still doable without it. That's a weird angle, Itchy. I don't like that. God, that worked. Go too far over. I just go too far at the end. Oh, good. Ugh. Shotgun upgrade is not worth, yeah. Which, again, if we don't get the Majima shotgun upgrade, we then skip out on going to the casino. So it's like... Yeah. It's also like PS3 and nothing with OGs. Yup. I genuinely, I don't... this might just be, you know, like... Oh, this is just a big giant coincidence.
Good luck with the run. Hope you're feeling better.
The fact that I had all those Dead Souls crashes, and then all of a sudden, like, my PS3 started not loading OG1 properly, I don't feel like that was just a coincidence. Like, I feel like it broke because of the fact that, you know, Dead Souls hard crashed and cycled my console multiple times. Like... I don't think that was a coincidence. I genuinely, like, conspiracy theory hat on. I genuinely feel like that was a factor at the very least. Like, it would not surprise me, because the way that Dead Souls crashed the PS3 was not healthy for it at all. It can't have been. Yeah, the prop. Thank you for the tier 1 for 38. I was. Today I'm not feeling as good. Today I'm feeling kind of bad. Oh, you're next. That sucks. That's bad. That's very bad. Because now I can't get the hit with Adachi. This. I can't kill the guy on the right with Adachi, so I'm not going to try. Can I kill him with a normal? I think I can. Wasn't paying attention to my damage if it was a high damage roll or not. HP is still fine for this. Okay, PS3 crit. Yeah, honestly, yeah. Honestly, this is why I'm happy, like, we implemented the crash rule, like just taking it from K2, because of the fact that I do genuinely think that the Dead Souls crashes are harmful to your PS3. Like, with the way that they happen, like, I'm pretty confident they are harmful to the PS3. That's both. One turn where I would have really liked to stun him. Do it again. Okay. Nothing hints for Dead Souls difficulty. Go and look at Panda's world record run on speedrun.com. Obviously, you can do a bit of grinding and not be as momentally underbaked as we are. But there's a good couple of things in that run that I would highly recommend. Do the thing that we do, where we go and buy a bunch of defensive amulets. With the on-rails shooting section, the APC's health is genuinely... Why did I go for this guy? That's bad. Because now they're both going to be alive. I'm going to get taunted. Not me throwing the run again. Hell yeah. Not me throwing the run again. Unless they wake me up, actually. That wouldn't be too bad. Normally, I should have hit the other guy in case he taunts. There's a chance because he didn't taunt me the first time, he's going to taunt again. So here's the thing. With this chapter, you want to get in the Sawashura fight at 18 minutes. We're at 18:25, which is pretty bad. 18:30 by the time we get in. Yup. So 30 seconds behind. Is very rough. Yeah, if we get Cold Fury skip, that would be pretty good. But the odds of that happening are very rare. Side damage in the first hit, at least. Please no stun. Beautiful. The reason why I don't want stun here is because this cutscene and phase transition gets rid of any debuff you apply to Sawashura. So getting stunned there is like the worst turn it could happen on. At least if you get it on turn 1, you at least have 1 turn of stun. Like, even that helps. Yeah, I think I agree with what Big Nono says, honestly. The nice thing about, you know, not speedrunning it is you can do some of the sub-stories to be able to, like, you know, level characters up and get, like, a good couple of upgrades. I would highly recommend doing the Clichés sub-story for Akiyama, which is at Theatre Square very early on. It's one of the first ones you run into. One of the first ones we do in all sub-stories, because that gives you a specific item upgrade that you can use to upgrade Kiryu's anti-material rifle in the finale, which will help out a metric fuck ton for the finale bosses. You'll still need to get a couple of other materials. Should be fine, so I have more here. Yep, good. I'm a little worried about the base. Okay. Okay. Right, this is just going to be a hopefully decent fight. Just a normal fight. So what we're hoping on at this point is Ichi's agility to roll over at least once before his MP is finished. So in the next 2 turns. So if Ichi's MP rolls over here, this will be a nice normal fight. Okay, GG. So yeah, not ideal. You want to come out of this fight like sub 20 minutes, but I have good time save in chapter 3 still, so it should be fine. Okay, cool. That's fine. That's fine. If you haven't seen the lad run in a while, if you're wondering why there's no like red split for chapter 2, it's because I didn't split properly during the previous run. So it's filling in the gap that is there with the actual time that we left the chapter in. It's not me not having split, it's just literally the live split program putting in the time that I had.
Huh?
But as I said, like, I knew my chapter 2 and my PB was pretty good, so usually I'm expecting to come out of chapter 2 losing a bit of time, honestly. Like, I think my chapter 2 and my PB had Cold Fury skip. I think it skipped all 3 taunts. But I think it had just bad enemy spawns on the map. I think that was the only thing that was wrong with that chapter 2 in my PB. So we're going up against what is a gold chapter 2. That's why I don't particularly like try and like use chapter 2 as like a big indicator as to whether like a run like continues or not. But if I get like bad luck and get taunted by everyone, Graveyard, outside of Sewers, Fear, and then obviously, you know, just before Sawashiro, that's usually a sign that the run is dead at that point if I come into that chapter like really far behind, like 20 seconds or so. So that's why I have the 8:30 limit for chapter 1. At time of balance, the estimated total session that being more than? Probably. And yeah, like, I really like that it has checkpoints. I want to say that Canon difficulty in Fist of North Star also does, but I also think that Canon difficulty in Fist of North Star is far fucking worse than Dead Souls difficulty. In Dead Souls difficulty, there's certain bits of cheese that you can apply to certain parts of the game, whereas with Canon difficulty in Fist of North Star, they make Rao go from like level 40 to level 99 and he fucks you up in like 2 hits. And then it just gets worse after that. Then it just gets fucking worse. Because Canon difficulty is supposed to be, hey, they're, you know, canonically their power that they are in the manga, so of course Rao is supposed to be the strongest. But then at that point in Fist of the North Star, you have, hey, here's our OCs we made for Fist of the North Star, please do not steal, which they make even stronger than Rao. I think the final boss is like level 125, which in the speed run, we finish at level 40-something. Early 40s. So for anyone who ever asks, you know, hey, why don't you ever do a Canon difficulty speedrun Fist of the North Star? I don't fucking think it's possible from any percent. Like, without doing, you know, all sub-stories attached to it. And even then, all sub-stories, we only finish around, like, level 60. Like, we don't finish that high of a level at all. Like... So, yeah, I don't think Canon difficulty is doable to speedrun for Fist of the North Star. And I'm certainly not the one who's going to try. No amount of money, no charity rewards are ever going to get me to do it. Like... Fist Ass was bad enough. I am never ever touching Canon difficulty, and I'm never touching Ishin difficulty in Ishin. Evil. Evil. Zeng here does have stun. We don't want to see stun, ideally. We also have stun. Oh, he has fear, even. We have stun. We want to see that. Anytime he's not stunned, we are using Pigeon Raid. Fuck, please don't land. Okay. Bog standards in. Although actually no stuns is, yeah, no stuns is a bog standard. Like, cool. This isn't going to be a very fast thing, it's just going to be a normal thing. Pigeon Raid is our highest damage skill that we've got. The reason why we don't want to use it that often, if he's stunned, is because every single pigeon is its own damage instance. So every single pigeon can wake him up from stun. But if we have a low damage roll, this is a kill. Ideally, you do want to stun Zeng, because then you do an opportune with Namba. Namba's opportune attacks are really pitiful. They're only like 26 damage, but they don't wake Zeng up from stun that often, so the fight just flows a little better. Like, you get more turns, but weirdly enough, it just flows quicker. Like, it's so weird how that works. Like, it's down to attack animations, pigeon raid, blah, blah, blah. The pigeon raid is still the strongest thing that we've got in that fight. Belt, shirt, hat, glass, grenade. Now, here comes the first bit of big RNG for the run in terms of run-ending RNG. We need a minimum of 720 yen. Perfect. Literal perfect. Literal perfection. Chapter 3 wants me to carry on with a run today, apparently. Shit. So, ideally, the vending machines have several different things that you can get. 10 yen, 100 yen, 500 yen. All you need is one of the 100 yen or the 500 yen. The 500 yen is obviously a bit rarer. You can also, if you luck out, get plates. You can get, like... You can get paper, iron, silver, and even gold. You can get gold in this bit. I've gotten gold multiple times. The downside is we don't open the secondhand shop until chapter 12, so we can't sell those plates even if we get them. So, yeah, you don't actually want a plate from one of the vending machines. You want pure outright money like that. 100 yen or 500 yen, absolutely perfect. Doesn't matter which one you get, provided you get one of them. As soon as you get one of them, you're done. And blaz. You only have limited vending machines here. If you don't get it from these vending machines, you're done. Because what we need is the money to taxi from this taxi all the way back over here, which takes 45 seconds to run back minimum, and that's without having to deal with fight spawns. So, yeah, you want the money for this bit. That's why it's a reset point. That's why it's the first big reset point. Mission on mission difficulty from Macron New Game Plus to grind up his character level 175 at 200. Second to last dungeon floor is, yeah, no, God. Like, I don't want to touch either Canon difficulty or Ishin difficulty for a speedrun. Like, there are some things that I would just vehemently outright refuse to do, and those two are two of them. Because, like, they're just not fun. Whereas, weirdly enough, in Yakuza Dead Souls, there are ways to deal with Yakuza Dead Souls' difficulty spikes. There's some parts that are, unfortunately, just get lucky. One of the earliest parts of Ryuji fucking sucks. It's where you save the guy and it gives you the tutorial on the batting machines, and then you go into like this little side room that has like the corridor with the two aggros, all the zombies, and then it has that small room with all the zombies, because that's one of those rooms that Dead Souls likes to do where some of the zombies are a little tankier than they should be at that point and don't die as fast. But the issue is that you are in a small enclosed space with no space to move, and you have to take care of the zombies because they will stun lock you and kill you. Like, you will get stun locked. There's nothing you can do. So that's one of those parts in Dead Souls that is very RNG. And that is one of those parts that is, if you know what to do, you can get through it. Because there's actually a chair to the right-hand side that we grab to be able to, like, just knock down the zombies really fast. And if you don't do that input, like, perfectly as soon as you get into that room, you're done. I don't know how they expected anyone to do that room. That room is fucking absurd. Like, even if you're, like, you know, grind it up, you can just get stun locked forever in that room. Like, I don't know, like, what they were expecting you to do in that room. The chair is absolutely the way to go. Just hitting all the zombies down, knocking them down, and just getting them done. That's all you can do. It's Scott. Thank you very much for the 5 gifted subs. I appreciate it. Thank you very, very much. Hope you're doing well tonight. But yeah, outside of like a few very like select parts like that, like, Dead Souls difficulty is, you know, doable. It's just hard. There's just very, very few parts that are just, you know, hey, this is a giant fuck you in terms of difficulty. This is a giant fuck you in terms of you are not going to be able to, you know, deal with this unless you know what's coming ahead of time. Also, I would highly, highly suggest, as Big Nono said, check out the strats that we use against Basan. Those were actually found by the Dead Souls runners, and we utilize them in the 80% English, 80% easy difficulty. Like, 110%, like, look at the Basan strats. They will get you through that fight on Dead Souls every single time. It stops Basan from summoning zombies in second phase. You have no idea how much of a godsend that is. You literally stun lock Basan, like, for the entire game. That's how good that strat is. Like, it is necessary. You know, I did clench for a second there, because I did have a thought. Okay, and with that, as I said, my chapter 3 was pretty bad in my PB. We are now ahead. We have a run. That's a gold. Oh, damn. All right. Cool. Oh, just like... this is why, like, if you run a game enough as like a speedrunner, for those who don't speedrun, when you run a game enough, you know when things are going right and you know when things are going wrong. This is why I have upper limits on how long it takes me to get out of chapter 1. So, like, YouTube, you don't get to... That's the wrong option. YouTube, you don't get to see very often what goes into, like, a lot of resets for speedruns. But now you can understand why there are a lot of resets. Like, this is now good pace. This is now exceedingly good pace. It's not the best pace I've ever been coming out of this. I've been, like, 20 seconds, 30 seconds coming out of chapter 3. But I will happily take this currently with how things have been going lately. Never ever going to complain after, like, 4 years of running this game of getting a new gold split. Usually you would use Reckless, but unfortunately everyone's moved away, so I'm just going to take care of this guy and then take care of these two the slow method. Shit. This guy has more HP than anyone else in this fight outside of the Slugger. We obviously always take care of the Slugger with a Adachi, so just make sure to take care of him with Pigeon Raid. Tag Team Master Mayhem will not kill that guy. That's why you Pigeon Raid that guy. Okay. I like this menu. This is my favorite menu. So I mess it up, of course. This is one of my absolute favorite menus that I actually do in the run. I can do that much faster than that. I can do that like a lot faster. I can do that like 5 to 10 seconds faster than that. Well, no, maybe not 10 seconds. I can do that like 5 seconds faster than that. Been a while since we've done this run. So yeah, my menuing is suddenly getting slow. You see how slow that took me? Yeah, my menuing is like messing up now. You actually went first? That's fucking wild, my dude. So now we have what we like to call our... Where the fuck is he going? Turn order stuff, where essentially... This is actually good. This is a very good turn order, actually. That actually worked out. This guy not stealing and stabbing immediately actually worked out. That's cool. Save some of those for later, Richie. Jesus Christ. We don't need to crit there. So what we want at this point, ideally in pretty much every single fight, is Namba, Ichi, Adachi as a turn order. This does not always happen, despite the fact that our stats are always the same from run to run. There's a hidden modifier for your agility in terms of LAD. It's a little better in Infinite Wealth, but it is still slightly there. But it's not quite as egregious as it is in this game, where even though we have exactly the same stats, sometimes Ichi will go ahead of it, Namba, and then we have issues. What I want here is him to go after Ichi. Perfect. Beautiful. Very beautiful. So, the backup for this fight is that we need Namba to land Pyro Belch here. If Namba lands... Actually, it's not going to work because he had his second turn. I have to use Reckless. Fuck. So, here's the thing. If he gets a turn before Adachi, and then after Adachi, you can use a physical attack, because he has a resistance to physical attack, and 2 burn ticks will kill him. Because he took his turn before Adachi, I have to use Reckless to guarantee that he dies, and then we don't have to sit through another turn of his. There's a lot of little things that actually go on mechanically in this run that you wouldn't expect. Like, this is a good start. You'll see why this is a good start now. Pyro Belch onto green gets these 2 that aren't resistant to fire. Then Mega Swing will knock everyone to the ground. It'll kill green. You being standing is very bad. Very, very bad. I hope you die to this. Shit. One of my Mega Swings missed, which is a shame because that means he's going to survive this, which means I need to do a little bit more work. One big thing to remember in this fight is you must not, under any circumstances, use anything other than Batbuster for round 2. We need our MP. You should know this. you need RMP on Itchy for the fight after this, and as you saw there, you are just away from a job level up to get that heal. So you must not use Mega Swing twice in that fight. Only once. Yes, Noob. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Thank you very much for the super chat. I want to ask my thoughts on OG1 versus Kiwami 1 on a speedrun level. Is one more fun than the other? Both are very mechanically different. That sounds like a real cop-out answer. OG1 has not aged well in places, but I am also not the right person to give a full response to this because I have not done that many OG1 runs, and I really need to. I find OG1 fun, but there are definitely... I need to... Without, like, actually trying the new route, because there's a much newer route since I last did OG1 that makes a lot more fights consistent, like the Hayashi fight, kind of the Majima fight, which is still a little bit problematic. And... Oh, that's bad. This might not kill now. I don't know how I'm missing my QTEs. This sucks. Please kill. I need this to kill. Okay, still fine. And for the simple shooting section. Yeah, fair enough, K1. Yeah, fair enough, K1. I think, like, even though I haven't done that many runs of OG1, I would still say K1. Mostly because of the tech that we use in K1. Like, the tech we use in OG1 is still really cool.
Just got
because
the
the fact
Yakuza
that,
3
you know,
Platinum Fruit Nice.
the fact that OG1 is, like, an older game means that we can't utilize some of the, like, the more nice quality of life stuff that we have in K1. But it is very cool in a lot of places, but you also have to contest the fact that it's OG1. If you do any inputs in your QTEs before they appear on screen, you automatically fail the QTE, which... That sounds like a bad thing, but weirdly enough, all of OG1's QTs are triangle. So, on the other side of that, you don't have to think, you know, hey, what's this QT coming up? Am I going to lose time to it? It's always triangle. Like, you're not going to lose time because you know ahead of time. It's just triangle. That's kind of like a benefit to, like, obviously the QTs of OG1. But, yeah, the shooting section fucking sucks in OG1. It's terrible. It's garbage. It's very RNG. In K1, you can use your mouse. It's so nice. So, yeah. I would honestly give the slight edge to... I don't know how that wasn't a fight. I shouldn't have. I would give the slight edge still to K1, even though I haven't done OG1 that much. Just because I really like K1's run from a technical standpoint with all the max crushes we do and stuff like that. Zolario the dog. Fuck you, video game. Thank you very much for the Prime Gaming for 21 months. I appreciate it. Thank you very much. This game is serious to run for New Game Plus. Aside new stuff because you bought QTs we speedrunning. Probably 0. I would slightly disagree, and I would say the game you're looking at. I do agree that 0 is one of the easier ones. But this game, you just press start in any fight. This game, you just use an essence and press start, and that's it. That's the run. Like that would be my response. Is just this game is just press start. Literally, all you do is use a multi-hitting like essence attack, and then you press start. There's no thinking. At least with 0 New Game Plus, you still have to think about positioning. You still have to think about, you know, you shouldn't have to think about ammo because you should have a full stock of, like, you know, shotguns in your inventory. But you still have to think of, like, at least semi-good positioning in 0. Like, in this, it's just press start. Like, as much as I love this game, like, New Game Plus for this kind of fucking sucks. With 0, you have to, like, actively engage with your brain a bit. Yeah, no, we don't do the menuing because you're already set up, obviously, ahead of time for, you know, all your equipment and stuff like that. If there is one thing for 0 over this, it would be that you don't have quite as much menuing. You do still have to do menuing in terms of, like, obviously, taxi stuff in this run. You still have to do at least 1 round of the shareholder meeting, so it has that going against it. I'm forgetting where I'm going here all of a sudden. Yeah, DS New Game Plus is a bit involved, but it is also good fun. Just use your satellite laser. It's very cathartic. Like, here's the thing with Yakuza speedruns on New Game Plus. Each of them, for, you know, better or worse, are mostly very, very easy. Like, with any RGG run, whenever you do New Game Plus, you are very overpowered. Again, in both a good way and a bad way. Let's get a bad one down real quick. Got my odd stone though, so we're all good. So yeah, every single RGG game, like for New Game Plus, for a speedrun, you'll be massively like overpowered. It's the same for Infinite Wealth. Which reminds me, I need to upload my run to SRC. I beat the world record for New Game Plus for Infinite Wealth by 30 minutes. I just haven't uploaded it. Whoops. I did that like months ago. Wait, not inside, not inside. This is not Infinite Wealth, my dude. Thinking of Infinite Wealth. Infinite Wealth is exactly the same as this, where it's just, you know, do a lot of menuing for taxis and stuff, get to where you need to go, and then just use a bunch of essences. Like, at the very least, like, every other New Game Plus is at least a bit more, like, obviously involved. Like, Zero, you need good positioning for your shotguns. With K2, you should have a full inventory full of weapons and stuff. But with K2, you get the fun aspect, where you set yourself on fire. So for K2, you have to be a little careful not to, you know, kill yourself. Video game. Like, you literally have a sword that sets yourself on fire. Like, you utilize that because it's the best fucking weapon in the game, but at the same time, if you overutilize that, you're going to be, you know, murdering yourself. You have to be a bit careful of that. So with K2, at the very least, you're, you know, you have a little bit of that aspect going on. You have to, like, you know, keep an eye on that. I don't know why my menu is getting worse here. K1 New Game Plus is, I would say, also a bit more involved as well. Like, it's not just, you know, like press start like it is in this game, for example, but it is very, you know, you're a lot stronger. You have access to your dragon skills. You very much have access to your dragon skills, or at least some of them. So, good start. So at least you have, obviously, that to contend with. Like, you get to use that over, like, obviously, the any percent. Good fight. That's his best New Game Plus run, not biased. I would have to try... I'd have to see what the differences were with the PS3 era. Because, like, I admittedly have very little knowledge of what the New Game Plus runs are like for 3, 4, and 5. I have very little knowledge of what they're like. For 3, I would assume it would be... Should just launch that immediately. Is it at least 2? I hit the one guy I wasn't expecting it to hit. It's a shame he didn't die to that, actually. This guy needs to die. Tag team Adachi. I didn't trust Adachi to kill that guy for me. This guy, dude. That was a low damage roll on that. Reckless, that sucks. I also wasn't expecting the guy on the left to get hit by that. I thought he was out of the line by the time I started that attack. That's why I was upset that I didn't start it earlier, because I was expecting to get all 3 from it. But... I'll take it. Huh? Oh, you dumb fuck. That's why Chapter 3 golded. That's why Chapter 3. Oh, you dumb fuck. You ruined the run. My shoes. My shoes. They're over there. My shoes. Fuck. Piss. I forgot to grab my shoes. That explains why Chapter 3 was a gold. It's fake. It's not a real gold. I forgot to get my shoes. Oh, piss. Well. And through the fucking run. Again. Whoops. Well, let me just cancel that gold out. Oh, do not update my time, thanks. Whoops. I'm about a gold split, yeah. Even if it's fake. I'm doing something right. Nope. Nope. Oh, that fucking sucks. Alright, we'll give it another couple of attempts to get a run going, because, like, we've gotten semi-consistently to Chapter 2 tonight, so we might be able to get a run going again. Fuck. And this is a good lesson for, like, literally, like, anyone who wants to get into speedrunning, because, like, your first few runs are gonna suck. You're gonna forget things, you're gonna make mistakes. I've been doing this run for 4 to 5 fucking years, and I just forgot the very simple act of going to get my shoes. Like, something that has been in the run for at least 1.5 to 2 years at this point. Like, yep. Like, doesn't matter how long you've been speedrunning a thing, you will forget things every so often, and it'll be the most basic of fucking things. Like, it's speedrunning in a nutshell. It is very hard to remember everything. And you know what the sad thing is? I have a very smaller set of notes based on the improved route that we made like that good 2 years ago. My only note in chapter 3 is literally after Matsuo gets shoes in alley next to taxi. It's right there. I'm looking right at it. that's why it hurts. Ugh. In a nutshell, you'll forget the most basic things from time to time. That's why, like, if you're starting out speedrunning a thing, don't be upset about making, you know, any mistakes. Like, you're gonna keep making mistakes. Doesn't matter the amount of time that you've been speedrunning a thing. Every so often, like, you'll do something dumb or something you'll have forgotten about. It'll just be like, oh yeah, fuck, I wasn't supposed to do this. Or, ah, fuck, I was supposed to do this. Anyway, it's probably a good thing that didn't let me in the set piece, because that would have been a big issue menuing wise coming up. Again, issue. Well. Oh, issue problems. Good. Alright. Yeah, we've been consistently, like, that was the second or third chapter 2 we had tonight, so that's not too bad. Usually it's a one and done when we get to chapter 2 in LAD runs, so I'm not having too many problems tonight. But don't forget my fucking shoes. That wasn't the worst chapter 4. It wasn't the best I've had, but it wasn't that bad. So that's frustrating. It was starting to get a bit worse with my menuing getting worse, but the actual fights were going pretty well. Oh yeah, the Discord link doesn't work. I still haven't fixed that. We got a bot wave attack one night on Discord. A bunch of like very obvious like spam bots joined, so I had to basically discard all the Discord links. It was actually coming from the main Discord link, which was the one that was linked below the stream, which is a shame. So that's the one that I got to change on like 8 different places. So it balls. God fucking damn it. Would have to be that one. So yeah, I gotta change that up at some point. It was the very obvious, you know, name, then numbers, then, you know, AI generated images for profile pictures, and they were joining like in like very quick concession, like one after the other. So yeah, had to fix that. So I'll have to fix that at some point. I got a lot of things I need to fix. Not a great start, but at least he's stunned. So we still have to do the hit on the main guy. But provided he dies, we can still carry on with this run. But he has to die in this one hit. That helps. That helps a lot, actually. That's guaranteed. He was not dying. He would have got stunned. It's not a good start, but it is an acceptable start. We just need to not get Megastun hammered by Hirotsuka. And ideally not getting hit by Spawning Kamurocho. Yeah, no, I need to fix the Discord links. My Discord links are just all gone at the minute. There's no way to actually join my Discord at the moment. Oops. Oh, whoops. Which, that ain't right. That's not supposed to be. Issues can almost for our run. I mean, there's a lot of weirder things that can kill this run, but yeah, no, it's definitely up there. Good stun, not good damage. If he stays stunned, even if I don't kill him, we can still carry on. Oh. Please do the attack. Pull 40 leave. We'll try and see if we can have no fight spawns in Kamurocho. If we have no fight spawns in Kamurocho, then there's a chance we can carry on, but it's not looking good. Very much not looking good. You know, actual good menuing. Proper menuing. Yeah, if there's even one bad fight spawn ahead of us, then we're already out of our, like, extra time we can give to get a sub 830 chapter 1. See, that's the issue with carrying on if your, like, early tutorials are bad, is, like, you lose the time later on for any other, like, eventuality, like running into, like, fight spawns in Kamurocho. Just sucks. Let's find out. It's gonna be ahead, isn't it? No fight spawns. Hey, we'll take that. Very nice. Game heard me, no, I needed no fight spawns. Okay, cool. We can carry on a little bit at the very least, but hopefully this next fight doesn't taunt us. This next fight taunts us, then this attempt pretty much. Not too bad, not too bad. I'm definitely still not fully over this flu. I'm still very nasally, and I'm definitely not feeling 100% today. This sucks. I was definitely hoping to feel, like not 100% today, but like 95%. I'd actually say I've gone backwards since last stream. I've gone backwards since yesterday, actually. I'm looking forward to the next few weeks, despite the fact that, you know, very, very busy. It's a good kind of busy, like multiple like online marathon stuff, like obviously real life health stuff, which is good. A couple of other real life stuff that I need to do as well. No, I like keeping busy. Keeping busy is good. Yeah, no, infinite wealth is far too long. There's a very big reason for that. Like, you just need to use a little bit of common sense. The 8-hour runs that have gotten into GDQ are all called Final Fantasy. Like, it doesn't matter what you feel about this game. This game and this series is still very niche. The reason why Final Fantasy VII gets 7.5-hour runs into GDQ is because it is one of the most beloved games of all time. Infinite wealth is barely being talked about anymore. Like, there are reasons why only those games get in. Like, when you are running a marathon, and you put in a... Let's use actual, like, a 6-hour estimate for Infinite Wealth. If you put a 6-hour, like, RPG into your marathon, one, you are taking up, like, the vast majority of a day. Like, you're taking up literally a quarter of the day on one singular run. So, one, that needs to have brand recognition. Which the thing that Final Fantasy has is one, brand recognition, and two, a whole bunch of donation incentives that always do well for GDQ. Like, constantly rolling donation incentives, like obviously naming choices, like obviously like things to do in the run, like suplexing a train, stuff like that. Like, that's the reason why Final Fantasy gets 6 to 7 to 8 hour runs into a marathon. Reminder that the only way Final Fantasy X got into a GDQ was with cutscene remover, which took it from 9 hours to 3. Like, if ever Final Fantasy IX gets back into GDQ, it's with cutscene remover. It's not as a normal any percent run. Like, Right, Big Dodo? Like, if your name isn't Final Fantasy, you're not getting in. Oh, I'm 20 seconds behind. That's garbage. What were we saying? I told you this chapter was garbage. Like, if your name isn't Final Fantasy, what the fuck? Then you're not getting in with a run that's, like, over, like, probably 4 hours long. Like, I know what you're going to say. Hey, you did this run 2 years ago at GDQ, and it was 4.5 hours. Funnily enough, it was actually the longest run. It was either the longest or second longest run on the entire schedule. That was the year we got Final Fantasy X cutscene removal. Like, and this run was longer than that. We had Omori. We had a version of Xenoblade that was shorter than this. Like, it was the DLC or something like that. Like, that was the year that they just took a bunch of, like, shorter RPGs, and then the long RPG was this. Like, they didn't have Final Fantasy that year. Like, or if they did, it was something like Final Fantasy V or something like that. Like, that's the reason why this got in. And again, the reason why this got in is because it had a lot of very good rolling incentives. Like, we did a very, very strong submission. Like, both me and Tom did amazingly strong submissions. We had costume incentives. We had karaoke after the run. We had, obviously, the bid war for the language choice. We had the summon showcase where we show off the summons. The thing with, like, most of those is that you are already overinflating what is Infinite Wealth's runtime. They're very good incentives, and you can just reuse literally all the same ones again, and it's good because they are very strong incentives. But if you look at the donation, like, stats for LAD, as soon as, like, halfway through the run happens, where most of the donation stuff, like, actually ends for the rolling donations slow down. Donations slow down a lot at that point. Like, even though we had, like, the rolling karaoke one for the end, which got met, at that point, like, you still have, like, an hour and a half left of, like, this run that isn't, like, doing that much donation-wise. And, like, the other issue with a run that is as long as it is that with this run, they put us in daytime going into prime time, whereas if you have a 6-hour Infinite Wealth run, like, where do you put it? Where do you put it? Like, where do you actually put it? Like, you would put it either in the dead of night, where it's just not gonna go down very well, or during the day, where, again, at an unhealthy 6 hours, is taking up time from, you know, a lot of other runs that could be there. And that's, again, not me saying that I don't think that Infinite Wealth should be there, because I would love to see Infinite Wealth in GDQ. Tom put in a very good submission for it this time. But the thing is, it's very much like Ladish. In that the only time that Infinite Wealth will get into GDQ, or has a good chance getting into GDQ, is either now, or if the wrong equipped stuff actually shaves off like an hour of the run. If the wrong equipped stuff can actually shave off a giant chunk of time from the run, then Infinite Wealth has a much stronger chance. You have to remember that with any run, RPGs always have a longer runtime. But why would you take Like a Dragon over Final Fantasy? Over something that is guaranteed to be in your probably top 5 donated to runs in the marathon, compared to something that's usually top 15 to top 10. Like, they are still doing a charity marathon, and if you put in a 6-hour RPG run, you are taking up so much time from any other run that can get in. And if you look at GDQ during the daytime, those are when your really cool runs come out. Those are when your runs that are like, you know, 20 minutes to an hour and a half runs, that's when those are played. So by putting in a 6-hour run like that isn't Final Fantasy or isn't Pokemon, you are not going to do numbers. You are not going to do numbers whatsoever. That is not me saying that is an impossibility, but there are some games where it is an impossibility. Ladition is one of those. Ladition is never talked about anymore. The run itself is pretty much just hold square once you get the fast-firing gun. There's no real... Goodbye. There's no real, you know... There's no real, like, change to the run. Whereas with Infinite Wealth is a rolling run that changes up its tactics constantly. Infinite Wealth has a lot to talk about, much like this one did. Like... But something like Ladition is never getting in. Yakuza 5 is never getting in. Despite the fact that I adore Yakuza 5 to bits, I, like, genuinely love the actual run itself, Yakuza 5 has literally a character where over 40 minutes has no fights. All you're doing is walking around. Like... And here's the issue with Infinite Wealth. You have a literal 30-minute grinding section. You have a literal 20-minute Dondoko section. Like... You have 2 periods where nothing happens. And no, you can't just say, oh, that's a great time for donations. The one thing that you do not do is say that, hey, my game has downtime, so it has amazing time for donations. That turns off the game committee instantly, because that is instantly telling them, hey, there's a boring bit that comes up in my run. Like, you do not, under any circumstances, like, allude to the fact that your game has giant downtime in it. Which is the one issue that I have with Tom's submission for Infinite Wealth to this GDQ, is that Tom literally mentions, oh, we have 2 bits of downtime in it. Like, the thing to have done for that submission was submit the normal any percent, and then submitted a second category that was like any percent grind skip. And then mention in the description for grind skip, we can use a pre-made save to skip both of the grind parts. Because it doesn't matter for like an actual marathon, because again, you're getting past the bits that are literally costing almost an hour. Like, and that lowers down the estimate by like 50 minutes. Like, it's a big chunk off. But mentioning it in the actual description for the run itself immediately gets the games committee to look at it and go, oh, there's big downtime in this. Like, that's the issue. That's the issue with framing it like that. Like, there are certain things that you do not want to do when you do submissions to a marathon, and that's mentioned either downtime or that it's a fast-paced speedrun. Of course it's a fast-paced speedrun. It's a speedrun. If you mention the words fast-paced, no shit. Like, they're expecting it to be fast-paced. It's a speedrun. Everyone just uses the words fast-paced constantly. And it's a lazy way of trying to describe your, like, game. It's like, you know, oh, my game is really fast, you know. No shit. It's a speedrun. Like, and I'm not saying you won't get in by using fast-paced. I'm fairly certain I used fast-paced with 6 back in the day. Like, complete accident. But literally, if you are starting off your submission with stuff like, oh, this has a big grind to it, or, oh, hey, this is fast-paced, you are instantly telling the games committee big red flags. And that's the reason why, you know, long runs aren't going to get in. Persona 5, at this point, is sub 12 hours. It's 11 hours. If you didn't know, GDQ has a cut-off for submission times of 12 hours. Because obviously that's, you know, the VOD timing for YouTube. Am I ever expecting Persona 5 to actually get into an event? No. But with something potentially clever, like, say, splitting up that 11 hours over 2 periods, there's a very small chance. You just cut down time by loading a save? Yeah, like, and GDQ will take that into effect. They will take that into account and be like, you know, like, is the audience gonna like this? Because remember, a couple of years ago, dipshit decided to do a run of Metal Gear Rising Revengeance's DLC as a pre-recorded run, and you saw the blowback to that. If the audience knows ahead of time that it is, you know, going to use a safety save to cut stuff out, that might go down a bit better. But you still have to take the audience into consideration when it comes to stuff like that. Like, that can easily turn an audience off instantly. Like, I don't remember the last time GDQ used a run, or took a run that had a safety save in it to cut out a chunk of the run. Like, they very much preferred to have the run in its full and in its entirety. And again, this is why I am saying that this is the only time I feel that Infinite Wealth has a chance to get into GDQ, because it's still being talked about. Once Pirate Yakuza comes out, that's likely going to be a much better submission, because it'll probably be around the 2-hour to 2.5 hour mark. I don't expect it to be as quick as Gaiden. Like, I think the ship section is going to make it like a bit longer than Gaiden is. But for SGDQ, Pirate Yakuza is going to be the one that they're going to look at and go, is this a good speedrun? You know, it might not be a good speedrun. It might be bad. We don't know yet. Like, we have no idea. Like, the ship sections might make it quite slow. You know? It's like Stairs in Fist of the North Star. You know? You never know. Until we get the game in our hands, we just don't know what's going to make it good or bad. So, we don't know until, you know, the game is out as to whether it'll be good or not, but it will be the one that they will be looking at. Because if it is a good time, like, say, you know, 2 hours or sub 2 hours, they will look at that and go, you know, that's a much better prospect, because that's literally a third of the time that Infinite Wealth is. And again, that's not me saying I don't want to see Infinite Wealth at GDQ. I want to see Infinite Wealth at GDQ. I like Infinite Wealth's run. I think it is a good run. But literally, if you accept a 6-hour run, you are losing out on like 5 other hour-long speedruns. And the only game that gets away with that shit is Final Fantasy, because with the length of a Final Fantasy and with the amount of donations that you get in a Final Fantasy, they can do that. because that has brand recognition. The Yakuza games, I would say, like any like LED Yakuza like submission or like run we've done for GDQ, I would say for every single one of them has always punched above its weight. Every single one. Like, I'm not saying they've done bad. I'm saying they've done very well. I am saying they have always done very well. Doesn't matter which one it is. I don't think it's fair to compare some of them directly to others. Like, I would not compare LAD to, say, like, K1 or Gaiden, because of the fact that this is a longer run. It had a lot more donation incentives that went towards it. And obviously, you know, the time of the run that happened was very different. For the other two, it was prime time. But that also doesn't make me say, you know, this did badly, or, you know, K1 or, you know, like what I just used as an example did badly. They all did well. I think the only one that did sub 20k, I think, was K2, and that was the very first, like, Yakuza run that was out of GDQ, and it was for the very first online GDQ. So, you know, donations around that time were, like, obviously a little bit different. So, I genuinely would, like, happily say that any Yakuza / Like a Dragon run has easily punched above its weight, but you are still offsetting that against a 6-hour run. Like, and, like, I hear it so often from people saying, or, like, you know, oh, but Final Fantasy gets, like, 7-hour running. It's Final Fantasy. Like, you cannot overestimate that Final Fantasy VII, when it came out, I can't remember the numbers it did, but it did, like, didn't it do, like, 20 million? Something like that? Final Fantasy VII is one of the most beloved games of all time. If Resident Evil 4 was, you know, like a 5 to 6 hour run, even the remake, that would have gotten in. It's Resident Evil 4. It's one of the most beloved games of all time. Like, whereas, like, this series, whilst, yes, it's gotten stronger, and yes, it does well for GDQ, you are still, with a big, long run like that, taking time out from so many other runs. And that's the issue with any online marathon, or not even online marathon, any marathon. You can have a run that's just come out, and I will tell you a big one that I was very surprised never got into the previous GDQ, despite it being a really good run, and especially during the second submission period. Alone in the Dark. The new Alone in the Dark. A lot of you might not know what the new Alone in the Dark is like. I know some of you know what it's like. I know Big No-No in chat knows what it's like. Alone in the Dark, the new one, is busted. Speedrun itself is like sub 40 minutes. I think it's sub 30 minutes now, because the game has really cool out-of-bounds tricks. Like, as a speedrun, it is a pure, undistilled, beautiful speedrun to watch. Like, whole bunch of really cool tech to watch, whole bunch of really cool out-of-bounds to do. The run itself has, like, actual entertaining parts to it. Despite all the out-of-bounds, it's got, like, a good blend of, like, out-of-bounds stuff and playing the actual, like, game, you know, playing the game. It didn't get in. No, it did not get in. And, like, that game is, like, an absolute beautiful, like, set of, like, actual, like, what you would call a pure distilled, like, speedrun. Would have been an amazing showcase. But that GDQ also had a shit ton of really strong horror stuff already in. And that's why Alone in the Dark didn't get in. Like, literally, they already had, like, a very big, long list of what they wanted for horror stuff. And the horror block in GDQ has been going from strength to strength over the last few years. But if you have too much of one thing, that is going to distill from everything else that's there. Like, there is going to be a set amount of hours that they will want for, like, an action block, for instance, which is why for any action speedrun, so, like, you know, your K2s, your 6s, your upcoming Pirate Yakuza, your Ishins, etc., there will be a certain amount of time that they want for action runs. And if you get some things that go over that time, you're not going to take that. It could be, like, a great showcase. It could be, like, one of the longer ones, like 3 hours. Deadly Premonition is an amazing example of this, because I've submitted Deadly Premonition. I love Deadly Premonition with all my heart. And it's the same with Yakuza Dead Souls. They're both around about 3 hours. Dead Souls is, like, a little bit quicker, which is nice, console crashes aside. Both of them are very much set in what they do. They have very good speed tech at certain points, but the rest of the run is very much very similar to, like, the rest of the run. So you have a lot of little bits of, like, downtime in both Deadly Premonition and Dead Souls. Dead Souls has the multiple 3-minute waiting sections. Deadly Premonition has the CAD jam section. There's no getting around it. But both games have some really cool tech to it. All the little particulars in Dead Souls, with its guns, with its crafting, with its equipment, with its having to reload between different fights to make sure you have your actual bullets, like, equipped for fights, skips for certain boss fights, has such cool tech. Deadly Premonition has the giant Chapter 12 out of bounds skip that saves 15 minutes. You look at that, you distill that down to a pure point, they are fantastic to watch. But if you accept those runs, you're taking up 3 hours of that action block, and most action games that perform well at GDQ are around about an hour and a half long. So you are taking that, and you are losing essentially another run or two that you could put into that slot. And that's the issue with both Dead Souls and Deadly Premonition, is that they are very solid. They are very good speedruns. They are entertaining to watch, but they take up a lot of time. And that's the thing with any kind of scheduling for any kind of speedrun marathon, is getting that schedule right. It is more than just taking a dart, throwing it at a dartboard and going, yeah, I'd like that. There'll be some stuff that come out that, like, the games committee will, like, get submissions for and instantly go, I want that. Like, they will instantly know, like, from, you know, the actual speedrun over the last couple of months, like, getting quite big or being quite popular, and go, we want that. I'll give you the biggest example, and I can guarantee you this is going to be at AGDQ. Shadow of the Erd Tree, Elden Ring DLC. 100%. Put money on it. 100%. And that run, depending on what variation they take of it, has been pretty quick. It's been like an hour long to an hour and a half. Gives you a good showcase of the DLC. It's Elden Ring. People fucking love Elden Ring. The run itself is fantastic. You get to see all those really hard boss fights done in like a really satisfying way. That's there. 100%. 110%. Shadows of the Erd Tree DLC for Elden Ring. 100%. That is probably going to be your ender for AGDQ. If I'm being honest, that is probably the absolute end of the end of AGDQ. That will probably be the last run. If not the last run, towards the end of the last run. Like, and there are things, and like, so for those who don't know, it's a period of time that, you know, I don't speak about very often. I used to be involved in the fundraising aspect for ESA back from 2018 to 2020. And the thing about doing marathons, like, a lot of people will always say, you know, oh god, Pokemon's here, or, you know, they've got 2 Pokemon games, they got 2 Mario games, they got 2 Zeldas. And guess why? Every marathon, be it online or in person, will have certain series that always perform well. And there is one series that's performed well that actually went to the detriment of one of my runs, but not in a bad way. Pokemon. Back at AGDQ 2022? Yeah, 2022. Lost Judgment, any percent. Yours truly. Had a donation incentive for the Boss Gauntlet, which, you know, it's a spin-off game from RGG. It's not a mainline Yakuza game. And essentially, the donation, and this was the middle of the week, they set the donation incentive to 100k, which, if you look back on it now, anybody would tell you that is absurd and will never get met. We actually did like 30 to 40k towards that during the run, which I'm hellishly proud of, because, like, again, it's not got the brand name that Yakuza Like a Dragon does, so getting 30 to 40k towards that as like a side game, like, that's fantastic. That's genuinely fantastic. And you might wonder, why did they put it so high? And there's a very easy reason for that. The day before, the middle of the day on a bloody Wednesday, was a Pokemon run. It was the Pokemon run that spawned the Shen Bulbasaur meme. That Pokemon run. That Pokemon run that did something stupid like 300k to 500,000 in a midweek run. Obviously, at that point, a wave is being ridden where, you know, they're seeing, you know, more donations. So they're going to, you know, make the future stuff and make future incentives a bit higher. And like GDQ after that run, like, literally came up to me and said, like this was literally the reason why. As soon as my run had finished for Lost Judgment and we didn't meet the donation incentive, like, they literally came up to me and they said, sorry, we messed up. Like, we had this wave from that Pokemon run on Wednesday, which, as someone who has done, you know, fundraising stuff for other big marathons before, yeah, like, it happens. Like, you know, and you try and ride that wave when it is happening. And, you know, yeah, as you can tell from what I'm trying to say from this conversation, Pokemon brings in money. Pokemon is one of the big earners for GDQ. This is why you will always see a Pokemon at GDQ. Like, and here's the thing, I want you to look at a GDQ schedule from even, say, 5 years ago, 5 to 10 years ago. Look at how much Zelda there was, how much Mario there was, how much Pokemon, or actually no, don't look how much Pokemon there was, because there wasn't. But look at the Zeldas, look at the Marios, and now look at the schedules for GDQ these days, and look at the amount of Zelda and Mario you get, because it's way less. It is way less. When the games list is revealed, everyone always goes, oh my god, there's 8 different Marios on this list. No, it's because they're doing like a race or a relay, and it just lists off all the runners in that relay. You'll still get like 2 or 3 maybe like Mario runs that are only like an hour long. Like, you'll always get your like Mario Maker relays every so often because they're the money makers. Like, you may not see them as like pure, you know, speedruns per se, but they are a big event for GDQ that makes them money for charity, and that's the important thing. And having a long, like, you know, 7-8 hour, you know, turn-based RPG is going to cut into the time for everything else when you already have established we're taking the Mario Maker relay. And that's the reason why, like, for your marathons, it's not just entirely, you know, we'll take everything. You have to remember. Let me have a look. Now, this won't be everything. This won't be everything that has been submitted, because you can actually have your submissions not public. This is the AGDQ 2025 submissions from literally everything that is public. That is 3 months, 18 days, 6 hours, 51 minutes, and 26 seconds of things that are public to cut down to 7 days. That's why. That is why it is so hard, and especially for your like really popular marathons like your GDQs or like some of your online marathons like that, where a lot of what gets submitted is not going to be appropriate or work for GDQ. LAD, I think, got quite lucky because LAD was quite popular at the time, was riding that wave. That's the reason why I'm saying if there's any time that Infinite Wealth can get into this GDQ, it's now. Because people are still talking about Infinite Wealth, no one's talking about Ishin. Like, Ishin stopped being talked about like 2 months after it came out. Like, and with Ishin being 4.5 hours, it doesn't have the popularity that this had. Like, this had staying power. It's still being talked about. The same way that Infinite Wealth will still get talked about, you know, in the build-up to LAD9. Like, but the thing is, like, with Infinite Wealth, let me check Tom's... you dipshit. With Tom's submission, I like Tom's submission, but that is a 645 estimate. Now, Tom says this is a very generous estimate, which it is. I know Tom, I know Tom's runs. This is an exceedingly generous estimate, but just in case things go wrong. But like, again, as I said, there are two notable down segments of the run, Don Doco for 20 minutes and level grinding also 20 minutes. Don't put this in the submission. No, please. The games committee is just going to look at this description, see that, and go, I'm out. Like, even if you say afterwards, we can skip these by loading a backup save, take this out and just put it as a separate category. Oh, hey, that guy. Who's that guy? I know that guy. Don't put stuff like that in your submission. That's literally saying to the games committee, hey, we've got massive downtime. Don't put that in the submission. No. Like, this is a giant no for any submission. Don't put in things that say, hey, this takes time, it's boring. Don't do that. No, please, no. That's the thing that anyone on the game submission, when you have literally 3 months of runs to get through, and you see a description that says, oh yeah, we have massive downtime. No, please, no. It's just giving the games committee a chance to say, yeah, no, we're not going to take that. No, please. Oh, please. Oh. Hey, Wody, nice. Oh, actually, why do you submit Rebirth? Yo, nice. See, here's the thing, right? So you've got it, like, again, this is such a great example right here. You've got Infinite Wealth at a similar estimate, but 30 minutes longer than Rebirth. Let's say you take the option where you take out the two grinding segments in Infinite Wealth. That time estimate is now very similar to 7 Rebirth. Would you take Infinite Wealth over 7 Rebirth? 7 Rebirth is gonna do more numbers than Infinite Wealth, and that's the thing that sucks. And that's why you don't want to mention your downtime in your actual submission. I don't think Wody mentions any of the downtime. Like, here we go, right? Unlike Remake, most of the powerful material is locked behind side content, and we don't have any time to be doing side content. That makes it sound like the run is going fast. That's a good description right there. It makes it sound like, you know, we don't have time to do the side stuff. Whereas Infinite Wealth is like, yeah, we've got 20 minutes of downtime for this part and this part. Like, it's all about the way that you word it in the submission. And it's like, I want to see the actual, like, Infinite Wealth at GDQ. I love that run. But it's like, if you take that, I would take 7 Rebirth over Infinite Wealth, and I'm someone that likes Infinite Wealth so much. Like, 7 Rebirth's gonna do numbers. 7 Rebirth's gonna do way more numbers. You have, like, a couple of really cool submission, like, incentives for 7 Rebirth you can do as well. Like, 7 Rebirth is gonna do numbers. It's Final Fantasy 7. It's the new, fresh Final Fantasy 7. It's gonna do numbers. But again, this is still high. Like, you can still put in so many other different bits. I want to check for something really quick. I'm gonna search Final Fantasy. Because this is the issue of doing long runs, and this is the problem. 6 Worlds Collide. We had this a couple of years ago, did well. Less than 2 hours. Very good. You can put in that and another one. Again, this is a race. That's why there's like 2 of them. They're exactly the same. Crystal Chronicles Remastered. Crystal Chronicles is not as well known as some of the mainline stuff, so it's a little bit of a harder sell, but 230 is still a much shorter estimate. Final Fantasy IV Randomizer. Was it Final Fantasy IV that was the end of for SGDQ or AGDQ? Because that would be the only thing that would keep this out a little bit. But it was the Pixel Remaster. So this is different, and it's a good different. Legend 2 is... that GBA? That's GBA, right? Yeah, that's GBA. So you've got the older Final Fantasies that not many people have seen before. Again, 80% no credit warp. 42 minutes. It's pretty good. Pretty good time. You can put that in there. Final Fantasy Tactics, again, a little on the longer side, but Final Fantasy Tactics is very beloved, very fan favorite, has been getting a lot of talk recently about potentially getting a remake. That would be fantastic at some point. Type 0 HD. This is a very good run. I've actually seen Type 0 run. This is a very underrated run, and it's only 2 hours. Again, it's that almost sweet spot of your action runs of being like an hour and a half to 2 hours. Like, it's right there. Like, it's actually a very, very enjoyable run. Like, very enjoyable run. There's again another 6 Worlds Collide, 6 Worlds Collide. So this is all like a race together with everyone else that submitted it. That's why there's multiple of them. Again, I do think that Rebirth does have a slight chance here. Remake actually might have a good chance as well. It's been a couple of years since we've seen it. And this is what I was looking for. 16 is the issue. 16 is the issue because 16 is a good run. I like 16, but 16 is 8.5 hours. However, and this is the however, and this is how you get around that, and I'm fairly certain someone's going to have submitted it. Someone had to have submitted it. Yep, bingo. Boom, Blaze Wolf. Very clever. This was going to be my 5th submission if I remember to highlight my fucking speedruns. The DLC. The DLC is a pure, distilled, hour-long version of what you do in the main game. Obviously, it doesn't do, like, all of the tech because, you know, you can't fit all of the tech from an 8-hour run into, like, an hour's run. It's obviously very different content-wise, but it is pure distilled. If you're gonna take something for 16, and people still are talking about 16 and like 16, doesn't the hour-long look a lot more nicer than the 8.5? There might be a world. There might be a world where 8.5 hours is taken. Like, if it fits in the schedule, again, if there is a period during a day where they can fit in an 8.5 hour run, they'll take it. Like, it's not saying, you know, at this time, you know, it's impossible to get this into a GDQ. And again, it's got that Final Fantasy name to it, and it's new and it's fresh. Like, but the issue is, when you do something like this, you have to find a way to fit it in. It is not just, you know, oh, I like Final Fantasy 16. I'm going to take 8.5 hours. Again, especially when you have 3 months to get rid of. And this is just what's these seem familiar. I was gonna say I know who plays these speedruns. Wait a minute. How do we get to this guy? This is just the speedruns that, you know, are public. There is an option where you can make your runs not public. So it's gonna be larger than this. And they have to distill that down to 24 hours. And you have to make the schedule work. There are some things that you can just like and that make a really good speedrun and make a really good showcase that just don't fit. Look at Alan Wake 2. I really like Alan Wake 2. I really like Alan Wake 2's run. They took a category for Alan Wake 2 that was essentially not the entire thing so that it would fit into the schedule. And it's also part of that horror block, which is why Alone in the Dark didn't get in. Which actually, I want to check that. Has anyone submitted Alone in the Dark? That's not how you spell alone, my dude. Yes. Yeah. I was expecting Ezekiel to submit it.
again, this is a very good run. This is an exceptionally fantastic run that has, yeah, Rat's entire sound point, including all the noted out-of-bounds glitches where we run through the sky and clip through walls. Perfect. Like, absolutely perfect. 40 minutes, some 1 hour. That would fit very nice and neatly into either the, like, a horror block or just as a coming up from prime time to late night block. Like, this run would fit really well. I'm assuming others also submitting it. No, it's only Ezekiel, unless it's just, like, private. Like, again, you could fit in so many, like, little shorter runs that are 40 minutes long that have really cool tech like this. I'm telling you, like, if you haven't seen it, go and watch the Alone in the Dark 2024 run. It is really cool. It's got really cool tech to it. Like, this would work really well as a showcase in any speedrun marathon. And you can fit that in and so many other runs that have that same descriptor in over a RPG that is 6 to 8 hours. But the thing that's going for those runs that have the 6 to 8 hours is their Final Fantasy. You can get away with that because they're Final Fantasy. It's a little easier for the classics from the PS1 and PS2 era because people have so many, like, good memories of them. But again, Final Fantasy X needed a cutscene river to get in. I don't think anyone did submit it. Did anyone submit 9 cutscenes skip? I don't think anyone did. I'm not sure if anyone submitted 9 itself, actually. No. Okay. I'm putting money on this right now. Actual physical monetary bet. Final Fantasy 9 gets into a GDQ if someone submits cutscene removal. Straight up. Straight up. Final Fantasy 9 gets into any GDQ that it gets submitted to with cutscene removal. Guarantee you. Right now. Guarantee that right now. 9 is beloved. The cutscene remover gets it down to like 3.5 to 4 hours. Like over than being like a near 9-hour run. Guarantee you right now. Someone submits Final Fantasy 9 cutscene remover, it gets in. Like, guarantee you. Like, it's such a nice prospect of just, this is the Final Fantasy that people have beloved memories of, but it is a much shorter distilled time. Like, that's the reason why 10 got in. I do think that 10 cutscene removed wasn't a great time. I would have liked to have seen it a bit more daytime slot. But you know what run got into that daytime slot that it should have had? Lad. Lad got the daytime slot of all the big turn-based RPGs. Because we had, again, some fantastic donation incentives. And again, that's the strength of Tom's submission for AGDQ, is that Tom has, again, those really strong donation incentives to play off of. And here's the hot tip. I don't know if Tom mentioned about them. Infinite doesn't have a beam, I do. Oh my god. The keyboard's dying. I need to recharge it. Oh my god, it's eating my inputs. I need to charge my keyboard. Did Tom mention it? No. So here's the thing as well. For a submission for something like Infinite Wealth has amazing donation incentives. You can use that in your description. That's what I did with LAD. You can literally say, we've got a bunch of fantastic donation incentives for the runs, such as cutscenes, clothes, karaoke, all that jazz. You can even just, like, say, you know, we have the same incentives as LAD. They will know from that how good those incentives were and how much money it made. I'm fairly certain karaoke alone made 40k for LAD. Like, you have no idea how good the donation, like, stuff was for LAD when it got in. Like, you need to play off of that strength, and you can do because the actual run has the same kind of incentives that are as strong as that is. Like, you need to play to every strength, and with something that is as long as that, you need to play to its donation incentives as well, because that is a big part of what will make GDQ money towards charity. If you're trying to get like a big long run like that into an event, with the Final Fantasies, GDQ know from the past, character naming, suplexing train, easy peasy. Like, they already know from having it in the past and having previous metrics of it, it's gonna do well. It's why, you know, Save Kill the Animals in Metroid comes up so often, is because, you know, it's good, it's popular, it raises money, it's a mainstay, you know? That's the reason why, you know, these runs are a lot easier to be able to say, hey, take my 7-hour RPG run because it's Final Fantasy VII. Final Fantasy VII is beloved, the speedrunners had, and here's the other thing that actually helped Final Fantasy VII a lot as well. That run had a bunch of really cool new tech. Cosmo Canyon skip alone. Like, that run had so much new tech since the last time it was showcased that it was a fantastic showcase of all the new stuff. And this is why I am saying that Final Fantasy IX with a cutscene remover gets in guaranteed. Like, Like, if anyone runs Final Fantasy 9 cutscene remover, so it's a GDQ, I guarantee you, you're getting it in. Guarantee you. Like, 9 is beloved. 8's a bit weird because it's not quite as beloved, even though I am I'm an 8 apologist. I love 8. 8's great. But a cutscene removed, 8 and 9 will get into a GDQ. 9 will have, I think, more priority over 8 because more people like it more than 8. But I think Final Fantasy 9 cutscene remover, I think that's a big one that would get in. I've heard this said before, and like, this is a weird one. There is a game that would almost guaranteed get into GDQ, but at the minute it won't. And it's really weird. And you're gonna go, oh yeah, when I say the name. GoldenEye. For the N64. Because the issue is, and this is gonna go back to a point that I had with my Lost Judgment run. The GoldenEye community is quite famous for having a whole bunch of white supremacists in it. Like, you just think of GoldenEye, you'll think of a couple of names of really big white supremacists in the past. Jesus Christ. All you have to do, if I was to learn GoldenEye myself and submit a GDQ, I'd get it in guaranteed. I can guarantee you that. I'm not going to. But literally, if you just have somebody that isn't a giant fucking piece of shit learn GoldenEye and submit it to an event, somebody that GDQ trusts and knows, it gets in. Like, the reason why GoldenEye doesn't get into these events is because, one, I don't think they actually submit to GDQ. Yo, P4 Golden. Kind of watering and swearing. That's me. I need to do that on every single one of my speedruns. Yeah, they just don't submit, for one thing, but also the fact that, you know... Oh, actually, the bottom hot one. Yep, no GoldenEye. They don't submit for one thing, and two, like, you know, that community, quite rightly, has a reputation, you know? So, you have a runner that GDQ trusts that learns GoldenEye, I guarantee you that gets in. Like, easily. Easily. Like... But you just have to have a runner that GDQ implicitly trusts, because, like, you are shining a spotlight and a showcase on that game, and in turn, that community. Like, that's the big issue for that. But it's one of those that, like, if you're wondering why it's never been seen, it would be under the right situation, the right circumstances. It really would be. But it has to be very much the right circumstance, the right situation. But yeah, that's the thing with GDQ submissions. Like, again, you've got 3 months. You've got 3 months of, like, public submissions. Almost 4. That's over 3.5. You have to distill down into a 7-day schedule. There are things that will actually work quite well cohesively together, and then there are things that you are going to want that just won't work. Again, Alone in the Dark is such a really good example of just a really great speedrun that has really great tricks that just couldn't fit in because they had a whole bunch of really cool horror stuff at the time. Like, they had, I think it was Assignment Ada, I think they had, like, a good bunch of other, like, horror stuff that just come out that year or just hadn't been seen in a while. Like, I'm pretty sure it's been submitted. Really? Unless it's just, like, not public? I would not be shocked to see Alien Isolation get into a GDQ again soon, because of the fact that, you know, Creative Assembly have said they're going to make a sequel to it. People absolutely love Alien Isolation. Like, it's got some very cool tech to it, and it's been a while since it's been at a GDQ, I think. Probably like a good 2-3 years, I think. So, yeah. Alien Isolation, I could see that getting into GDQ in the very near future. I could see it being an SGDQ. Like, genuinely. Like, it's one of those things that's just, you know, it's very much well regarded, and it's a good run to watch and gets a good amount of donations. And with, obviously, you know, the hype for Alien Isolation 2, it's not a shoo-in, but it's a very, very strong chance, you know? You can ride off of that, like, announcement. You can get, like, the capitalization and be all like, you know, hey, look, we got that really cool Alien game that's getting a sequel now. Hey, like, you want to see that game before that game? Yeah, you do. Like, it's all about making things work. And, like, that's the hard part of doing any kind of, like, speedrun marathon, is it has to work. But it's also important on you as a user and how you actually submit your runs. I think a good example of bad submissions are my own. This is when I had the flu. So my submissions were pretty bad. We're going to Yakuza 4, baby. We're going to Yakuza 4, because Yakuza 4, I had no 5th submission. If I had my recorded VODs for the 16 DLC, I would have submitted it. But some idiot, that's me, didn't actually record their VODs for it, so they couldn't get the run done because of their bloody flu. But, like, the Yakuza 4 submission, terrible. Garbage. Like, 4th mainline game, 5th you count 0, Yakuza game, first feature multiplayer protagonist. Nice and distinct, doesn't really need the, you know, mainline stuff there, doesn't matter. In this one, we uncover a deep conspiracy within the Yakuza and please try and figure out what the bigger mystery of all, just what is this game of baseball? Whatever. Like, it's going for the funny angle whilst, you know, people don't understand that it's all about baseball bats. The description. Speedrun makes all these baseball bats. We're off to the ball game, swing fences against some home runs. You know, that's just to show you a little bit of baseball humor, appealing to the baseball side of the games committee. I don't know what the fuck a baseball is. I'm British. We have fucking cricket. It's terrible. Let's stop us having to do a little 50 gamble 2.5 hours that can just end the entire run. Is that really necessary? Like, I don't really need to say why the baseball bats are there. You know, it's not really necessary. Plus, baseball bats are fast, which, again, this is the same thing as saying a speedrun is fast-paced. No fucking shit. Of course we're using baseball bats because they're fast. No fucking shit. You don't need to put that there. As a serious answer, now we get into the good stuff. Positioning, upgrades, conservative use of baseball bats are hyper important for the run. That's all true. That's the actual meat and veg of the speedrun right there. Almost have a 3-minute skip in the middle of the run and series on PC exclusive bit of speed type by just unplugging our controller. Boom, right there. That's the good stuff.
An obligatory fuck cricket.
Yeah, fuck cricket. Thank you for the sub. I can't see subs right now. I'll have a look in a second. We'll skip a boat chase section by intentionally almost game over and ramming our boat into the other one instead. That's the good stuff. You're talking about the actual tech of the run and what makes it good. Like, that's the good stuff right there. Talk about bats specifically some fights avoid middle on QTEs. Yeah, okay, that's whatever. Like, yeah, that's important for the run, but it's like, is that necessary? Yeah. So, out of this entire description, the only important bit is just this bit. Just that bit. Half of it's not necessary. This is why you don't do submission text when based on flu brain. Can't write properly. Like, again, I'll easily bring up my own examples of this is a fucking shit description. Like, you need stuff in there that the games committee can look at and go, yeah, that's good. That's witty. That's fast. 3-minute skip by just unplugging your controller. Oh, I want to see that. How does this work? To be honest, we don't really know how it works properly, but it does. But like, yeah, literally right there. One thing that I saw that was really good as well, and this is something that most people need to do that most people don't do, either in the VOD itself, linked as timestamps, or in the actual description. Boom, right there. Wody shows you, hey, look at these boss fights. This is the cool shit in the run that you should be looking at. Like, stuff like this is fantastic. The games committee, they have to look through 3 months of submissions before the 1st of November, can look at this description and go, oh, 48 minutes into the run, or 40 minutes, 46, hour and 30. Let's quickly skip over to those and see what the runner thinks looks really cool in the run. Boom. If the games committee looks at that and thinks, damn, that does look pretty cool, they will then look at more parts of the rest of the run and go, yeah, you know what? Like this, put this in. Time descriptions are actually really good for game submissions. Like, just saying to the games committee, hey, this is the cool shit is really good. I did that with Deadly Premonition. My Deadly Premonition VOD actually has set timestamps in certain places that are, hey, this is this skip. This is the big chapter 12 out of bounds skip. This is us skipping an entire part of the set piece. Like, stuff like that is really good for the games committee to just look at and go, yeah, that's cool. Yeah, like that. Yeah, we'll put that into consideration. Like, timestamps are cool. They're good. They're fantastic. They are something that most speedrunners don't fucking do and can give you a leg up in submission stuff. They're really good. That's my impromptu, hey, this is what you should do for GDQ submissions. I hope you enjoyed. Those 3 subs I missed, removed 30 minutes ago. Thank you for the Prime for 2 years. I appreciate it. Cruister, thank you for the tier 1 for almost 2 years. Appreciate it. Keyball, thank you for the tier 2 fuck cricket. I appreciate it. Sorry, I couldn't see chat for the entirety of that either. That's why I went on big long rant. Hopefully that at least illuminates a little bit as to, you know, the whole submission stuff for GDQ, why some things work, why some things don't work, and why, you know, they have 3 months to 4 months to distill down to a week. Some things work really well, some things don't work really well. Descriptions are very important to your submissions for any marathon, but especially something that is as cutthroat as GDQ. Remember, less than 5% of submissions make it into the actual event. And if you're wondering if you should listen to this dumb fucking British idiot on the internet, I've been in GDQ 6 times! You'd like to think that I know a thing or two! This is why I can look at my Yakuza 4 submission and go, that's fucking shite. Hot take on GDQ submission. You just had it for the last 30 minutes. I have a potentially upsetting hot take. So I want to preface this by saying that I like the current way that GDQ does its submissions, in that it is the fastest runner. I think in some cases it shouldn't be the fastest runner. I think that's very controversial. I do like the current system. I actually think that having the fastest runner be the one that gets in is correct. I do want to preface that by saying that, but the way that I am coming at it with this is in the niche cases. If you have, say, 2 people submit the same game and one of them is faster, take the faster one, 100%. If you have a older run where someone's like 15, 20 minutes behind and is the only person that has submitted it for that marathon when the person who usually submits it doesn't submit it, you should take the person that submitted it. But if it is 2 people that have the same run and submit for the same marathon, take the faster runner. Absolutely. Like, absolutely. Like, I do think that commentary is very important, but here's the thing, you can fix that commentary by inviting commentators. Like, I still feel really bad. Like, I feel really bad for anyone that I've ever asked to do commentary. Tap and Cosmic back at AGDQ last year, or this year, that was really bad, because I really wanted to bring them in. I hadn't had much sleep. I was slightly hungover. And that was obviously when the submission incentive was another 100k again for the exact same one from 2 years ago. So I funneled my anger that day and just spoke over both of them. And I feel really fucking bad about that. Because, like, I know, like, Tap knew the run and I know Cosmic did some, like, work towards learning the run. I feel really fucking bad about that. It helped out a lot for Super Amon, which was nice. But yeah, no, God, I spoke over them a lot for that run. I spoke over Tap a lot for, like, Yakuza 6 as well. I bought Tap in more for Yakuza 6, even if it was just for the boss stuff. So I have this issue, and this is a me issue, this is a big me issue, where if I have commentators, I need to bring them in more. I need to figure out how to bring them in more, because I do think that some of the runs that I have done, and a big one, as an example, LAD, are better when it has multiple commentators. Like, I will fully outright say that LAD run we did at Summer 2022 would not been anywhere near as good as it would have been if I didn't have Tom and GK on the couch. Like, that run would not have been anywhere near as good. I had had 2 hours sleep. I had been fisting a box of Cheerios in the lobby about 20 minutes before my run. I was completely dead to the world. My glasses broke the night before where I couldn't fully read my shopping list. Like, if it wasn't for Tom and GK, that run would never have gone as well as it did. Like, literally never have gone as well as it did. So, rite of passage. Yeah, I feel so bad about it. Like, if, and this is like the most outside chance, if Deadly Premonition somehow gets into GDQ, I want Maxi on my couch, like Maxi Lobes. I want, if Toji's going, I want Toji. If, God, if Abby's got, is it Abby? I can't remember if it's Abby who does the run or not. If it's, if it is, Jade who goes, I'd love them all on the couch. And we can, like, wax lyrical and, like, speak the shit about Deadly Premonition during, like, a lot of parts. Like, I would love them on the couch. And I'd be able to, like, bring them in a lot more with Deadly Premonition. And, like, I feel really bad because, like, it's an issue for me in that I don't know how to bring people in properly. And you all know what, I go off and waffle. I just waffled about GDQ submission for 30 minutes when trying to speedrun this game. Like, I have a timer on stream that says, hey, idiot, you've been speaking for the last 30 minutes about this. Like, there is an art and there is a science to GDQ submissions. And, like, again, like, I want Infinite Wealth to get in, and I like Tom, and I want Tom to get Infinite Wealth in, but it's like, you can't in your description say you have 2 downtime periods. Like, when you have to distill a submission, we have to distill a submission period from like 3.5 months down to a week. Like, having anything in your submission text that is like kind of negative is something that goes against it. It's one of the reasons why I was thinking before about submitting OG2, and one of the reasons why two of the reasons I haven't submitted OG2. One, when we did OG2 versus 3 for the hot fix, that was one of the most stressful OG2 runs I've ever had and made me think I don't want to do this again. But 2, I've always tried to think, how would I describe OG2 submission? Because the start of OG2, as most people know, if you don't know, OG2's run starts off with a giant bit of RNG. Probably the biggest bit of RNG for a run that we still have remaining in a Yakuza speedrun, where we need to go to a specific spot on Tenkaichi, and we need an RNG chance of a fight spawn turning up, and then it's an RNG chance of that fight spawn dropping a specific weapon. As you can probably guess, that can sometimes go wrong. I think any of us who have speedran OG2 seriously have had at least an hour to 2 hours of a 3.5 minute chance of getting said weapon. And it's so degrading. And it's like, how do you surmise a run that has a lot of horrifically nasty bits to it without making it sound too overly negative? Because that's the issue. You don't want your submission to be negative. Like, you can play off the bad aspects of the game. Dead Souls. You can play off the really bad aspects of Dead Souls. You can play off Dead Souls' bad FPS by joking about the fact we have to point the camera at the ground. You're going to really enjoy seeing the shots of characters' feet. Nice and simple. And you can mention, you know, this will save us 10 to 15 minutes in the run, because it bloody well does, because Dead Souls is Dead Souls. And then that way they can also understand by looking at the submission video, this is why the camera's pointed towards the ground. They already instantly know, oh, it's to save FPS and save like a good 10-15 minutes. Cool, now we know. And you've joked about it. You haven't just gone, this game is so shit that the frame rate is bad and we have to point the camera to the ground. Like, you can play it off in a fun way. And that's how you do the description of it. Because it's something that's important that permeates over the entirety of the run that we have to point the camera down. So it's something that does need to be mentioned. So it's one of those things where it's like, your description is so vitally important. As someone that has done this for years and has gotten like 6 runs into GDQ, I would like to hope that I have at least some knowledge of how to do this properly. But you have to help yourself and help the games community. Like, you don't want anything that focuses on the negatives. Old Yakuza 4, great example. You would mention that there is a gamble near the end to be able to continue the run, but the way that you would describe it would have to be exceedingly particular. Because, as we all know, the old 50-50 in Yakuza 4, fucking putrid garbage. Like, if it goes wrong, we'd have to load a safety save. But you wouldn't mention that in the descriptor. You would go with the exciting angle of 2.5 hours in this 2 hour 45 minute run. We have to make a 50-50 gamble to be able to buy guns. That's not the way that I would phrase it, because obviously, you know, that sounds kind of negative still. So you'd find a way to phrase it a bit more properly, but in the exciting way of doing it. Like, there is a way to do it that just, again, flu brain is not letting me like think of properly right now. That Infinite Wealth, don't. No. The pointing the camera down for Dead Souls is literally because the game is so shit that if you keep the camera pointed up, your FPS drops. Although, fun fact, a couple of us, myself included, did actually do those strats in Gaiden for a while. The castle is quite unoptimized, and the entrance to the castle has a bunch of like water fountains and like fireworks that go off. So anytime I'm near the casino, back when I had my old PC, I would point my camera to the ground so that I'd have constant 60 FPS. Otherwise, I'd drop down to like 20. So in some cases, yes, but for Infinite Wealth and LAD, they're a bit more optimized than the castle area. Although people do have problems with Infinite Wealth and the beach. I had problems with it. I don't need to point my camera down anymore, but some people do just to, you know, keep their FPS high. But it's not quite to the degree that Dead Souls is. Dead Souls is the entire game. Dead Souls is just, this game barely functions as it is. Also, for a Dead Souls submission, like, you would not mention about the crashes. Like, and that's the issue, is how do you get past it without mentioning the crashes? Because the crashes are such a big part of what can happen in a Dead Souls run that it's just, you have to be very careful with how you describe it. Like, you have to be very, very careful of being all like, you know, oh, my game can just crash at any point, you know. We know where it's going to crash. It doesn't sound good. That's the issue. Like, the best part might be to just not mention it whatsoever. You know? Like, with K2, if anyone submitted K2 again these days, you wouldn't mention the Ryzen crash. You would just factor it into your estimate. Because all it takes is a minute out of your time. So, all you would do is put an extra minute onto your estimate. There's no need to mention that the game crashes. It happens in one spot. It is guaranteed to happen. As long as we just do the save, quit out, it's fine. All you would do is, instead of mentioning it in your description, you would mention it to tech before the run. And you would say, hey, listen, this game is guaranteed to crash at a certain point, so I'm going to be closing the game down at one point and loading it back up again. All you need to do. You don't need to mention it in the description whatsoever. Because does it have a full bearing on the speedrun? Is it positive speed tech? Is it negative speed tech? No, it's just closing the game down and firing it back up again. Like, it's not something that needs to be mentioned in the description. Dead Souls, however, likes to explode constantly, as Panda says. So, that's a little different. Let's cut the game stream. Mention we are F4 as technical note. Yeah, exactly. That's perfect. As a technical note, because again, GDQ submissions, they have a box where you can put in any technical notes. For Deadly Premonition, my technical notes for Deadly Premonition are probably some of the most biggest technical notes I've ever given, and they can be surmised, and I put this down at the start as, you will hear from this submission that the audio quality in certain set pieces is bad. I promise you, this is not my setup. The game is just like that. And I literally said, in this game, I have it set to minus 20 decibels. As long as GDQ tech know that they're going to have to like either compress the audio or lower it at certain points, we told them ahead of time about the crunch in this game, they're fine with it. Fucking Deadly Premonition. I have already told GDQ ahead of time for next week. Hey, when Deadly Premonition rolls around, there are gonna be certain points where you're gonna want to compress the audio. Fucking Deadly Premonition. Fucking Deadly Premonition. But yeah, for literally the crunch section for this, for GDQ, we warned them ahead of time and said, like, during Chapter 6, there's going to be 3 periods where we'll get into fights and you want to lower the volume, and we'll say it ahead of time, and we did say it ahead of time. So, yeah. So, you don't need to mention the technical difficulty stuff, like, you know, like ahead of time. Like, there's a separate thing on GDQ submission that you use to mention those stuff. And, like, as Big No-No says, like, here's the thing. The K2 Alt F4 is not speed tech, because for anyone that has a quad-core CPU, the game literally will crash an hour and a half into the run at a very precise point. So you must make sure you close the game down at some point so the game just doesn't crash at the later point. That's why we have the crash rule in K2. Dead Souls is a bit different because Dead Souls is just guaranteed to explode at some point, so we just allow people to like close the game down and pause the timer because every single Dead Souls runner crashes. And it's at a random point. Like, I will usually only do the crash rule if I've got a run I'm enjoying. Like, if I've got a run that's looking good, I'll do the crash rule. We all do it in different places. I usually get mine before Baby Raid section with Majima. Some people get theirs before Ryuji. I get mine before Ryuji 2 so many fucking times. Like, so normally I have to do it before Ryuji 2. I know Panda, I think, does it before, like, the Baby Raid section. So, yeah, no. Like, with that, it's not speed tech, and I wouldn't mention it in, like, in an actual submission outside of the technical difficulties part. As Big No-No says, yeah, don't try and bullshit the games committee, because they look into these things. They do look into these things. Like, this is why, again, for the content warning stuff, you want to be very serious about it. The Deadly Premonition, I literally said, like, you know, I've got violence in it. Like, there's a part near the end of the game that has, you know, a tree sticking out of a woman's stomach, and I can't pan the camera quick enough to get past that bit of violence. Like, I literally mentioned that. You might not think yourself, you know, it's that big of a deal, but it's still a violence content warning. Like, for what Forrest Kaysen has done to Emily, like, you know, it's still a content warning. Like, flashing lights, easy peasy, I've mentioned that multiple times, like, you know, So yeah, PG free piss percent. Major question about that incentive. Made money. Made money. Who cares? That also goes to, you know, show that again. A lot of people think that GDQ don't have a fun side. I don't know where this came from. Like, a lot of people think, you know, you can't swear at a GDQ. I have sworn in my 6 GDQ runs. I think I've sworn in 2 or 3 of them. I swore in my very, very first one. I was on world record pace in that K2 run, and in the second to last chapter, I taxied to the wrong place. I taxied to Millennium Tower instead of Tenkaichi. I somehow managed to still, like, world record that run by a few seconds, which obviously been way beaten at this point by, like, multiple of us, including myself. But when I taxied to the wrong point, and of course, because it was online, I had my splits up next to me, I literally just went under my breath, fuck. Like, it's in the VOD. You can hear it. Like, you can absolutely hear it. It's in the VOD. And again, people think, you know, you can't swear at GDQ, but here's what you do. You don't focus on it. And, like, that's the thing, is these things happen. These slips happen. With Yakuza, it's fine because it's a bit more of a mature game. These things happen. Like, you know, like, it's very high pressure when you do a run for a marathon, for any kind of marathon, but especially for GDQ. Like, I remember before, like, K2, I was fucking shitting myself. Like, I literally have never been that fearful for a speedrun in my life. Like, I was genuinely terrified. Like, and, like, after the first 10-15 minutes and you get into the groove, everything's fine. Like, you just realize it's just normal. Like, it's just fine. Like, and it's one of those things that, you know, these things happen. These slips happen. And, like, despite that, like, I've never been told by GDQ, hey, you know, don't swear, watch your language, etc. Because you just move on. You don't focus. And here's the thing. This is going to sound weird. Don't apologize. You don't, in the moment, go, oh, I'm sorry for swearing just then. Move on. That's it. Like, I don't know anyone that's been like, reprimanded by GDQ for, like, swearing once or twice in a run. Just move on. Simple as that. Like, there's this weird stigma that, you know, GDQ doesn't allow fun. Yeah, they do. Yeah, piss percent for Baldur's Gate 3. Like, you are allowed to swear once or twice. Like, obviously, you know, you don't focus on it and you don't just, like, you know, have a very vitriol, like, oh, I fucking hate this guy. Like, any, like, accidental slip is just an accidental slip. These things happen. Like, it just happens. Yeah, the oh shit donation sent. Peace out. Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Like, GDQ have very fun ways of getting around certain things. We did the, oh god, was it last year at this point? Has it actually been a year? I think it was last year at this point. We did our second Yakuza weekend marathon for GDQ Hotfix, and PLA, Playing Like Ass, did Yakuza 4. And obviously, you know, you can't have PLAs Playing Like Ass as, like, a full name on the actual thing. So what they did was, I think they changed PLA's name to Playing Like Posterior, or for one of them, they just put a peach emoji over Playing Like Ass. Like, they can't have fun at GDQ. Absolute load of horseshit. Absolute load of horseshit. They have fun. Yeah, Playing Like Peach, exactly. Like, they have fun. They have fun ways to get around these things. Like, yeah, that's like, I'm not gonna be, like, the massive expert on, like, you know, GDQ submissions, but I'd like to think that after, like, having, like, you know, 6 successful submissions, hopefully 7, please, fingers crossed, like, over the past 4 years, I'd like to hope that I know at least a little something about submission stuff. And it's like, you don't want to be overly negative in your submission. Like, don't be overly negative. Don't list the downtime periods. There's no point in doing that, you know? Like, it's not something that needs to be, like, actually talked about. You know? It's Angus, the G is silent. Yep. Like, genuinely fantastic. Like, genuinely fantastic. They have fun about it. I actually met Inus at AGDQ this year, actually. We had a drink. Cool person. Very cool person. Very, very cool person. One of the reasons why I was a little hungover for my run. Actually, it fucking was. And Brian knew I was. Was it AGQ? Yeah, it was. I ran Coyote Files. I was the third to last run of the marathon. That's the surprising thing. They still have the schedule up for it? Hold on, let me check. Should still have GDQ up. Where are we? I think they do, right? Where am I? Disaster relief. No. I think I can find it if I put in the actual code for it. For towels, the one before, I believe, this one. 8. I think it was 48. That's Summer Games done quick. That's incorrect. It's 42 before this one, so 46. Yep, bingo. AGDQ 2024. Let's go down all the way to the bottom. So, there's Final Fantasy VII Pixel Remaster. There's Baldur's Gate 3, which is the bonus game. There's Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. Huh? What is that doing there? Why the fuck was this originally the third game till the end of the marathon? Originally it wasn't. Lost Judgment was actually supposed to be right here, in between Sonic Origins Plus and Fire Emblem Awakening, which makes a lot more sense. But I think I got a message like a day or two before. I can't remember if it was like a day or two before the run. I got a message while I was there, which was like, hey, do you mind if we move your run? And I was like, yeah, no, that's fine. Like, I was expecting it to get pushed, you know, a bit further back during, like, you know, the middle of the morning. Because, you know, it's a side game with a piece of DLC. Like, you know, that's, you know, not got that big billing. I always thought being on the final day was a mistake. And they were like, okay, cool. You're now after Elden Ring and Lies of P. What? What? What do you mean? Those are near the end. What do you mean? Trepang 2 was added as a bonus game. This was the GDQ, where anything, or like mostly like 90% of things that got like, that were on the backup list, got into the event because of the fact that they were so ahead on time from day fucking 1. Like, this was the first GDQ they did the triple tech setup for, and we were so far ahead that like 90% of backup games just got into the event. So stuff like Trepang 2 that was on like backup from Blood Thunder, that just got in. Like, Blood Thunder literally got like a message like literally like a couple of hours before and like, hey, do you want to run Trepang 2? And it's like, yep. Like, this literally like this was the GDQ that was so far ahead. Like, the entire thing was so far ahead. Which I think is one of the reasons why I was put like quite late at night. Not complaining. Please don't take this as me complaining. I'm not complaining at all. But yeah, it's that whole thing of just, you know, it's a side game with a piece of DLC for the side game, and it did well. Again, this is what I was talking about earlier, where the boss gauntlet again was 120k, which this was the exact same thing that happened with the boss gauntlet the first time, because after the boss gauntlet back in 2022, the bonus game was Half-Life Alyx VR. And I said, like, before my run, we should focus on Half-Life Alyx VR, because we were never going to meet the boss gauntlet. And, like, the night before my run, whilst having drinks with a member of the games committee, they were like, so if we had to focus on one of your incentives, which one would you rather do, the boss gauntlet or Amon? I was like, Amon. I was like, Amon will be much more impressive whilst slightly inebriated. And hey, look at that. 51,000 for Super Amon, another 8,000. That's 60,000 for a 1-hour run of a side game with a DLC for the side game, whilst also trying to raise money to get this Baldur's Gate stuff into the schedule, which was, I think it was the All Access at the time, which was 500,000. So this run for an hour long with a piece of DLC for it, despite the fact that, you know, the boss gauntlet wasn't, like, fully funded. I've had people try and say, you know, I've actually seen people say, you know, oh, Fruit was, like, massively, like, angry about this. Motherfucker, this is an hours-long run for a side content DLC for a side game for RGG that raised 60,000 alone for it, and I can't remember how much for Baldur's Gate 3. You think I'm mad about that? I'm fucking happy about that. Bruh, that's, like, I think that did more than LAD did. Like, I am not unhappy at this in the fucking slightest. Like, would it have been cool to show off the boss gauntlet? Yeah, absolutely. I should have submitted it as my 5th game for GDQ this year and been all like, all right, instead of having it as donation incentive, why don't we just do this? But like, genuinely, I literally, like, in this alone was like 60k for just my run, and then however much we raised for Baldur's Gate 3. Like, how can I be unhappy with that? Like, holy shit. It was so, we raised so much for like a side game with DLC for that side game. That's less than an hour. I'm not unhappy in that in the slightest. Like, that was good shit. That was really good shit. I'm so happy about how we did for that. Like, so happy about how we did for that. I have no idea. Also, Nico Chaz, if you're still here, thank you very much for the sub. OG Happy Dude, thank you for the sub. I appreciate you both. Thank you. Yeah, no, like, I'm happy. Like genuinely, like that is a 1 hour side game with DLC that got pushed like at the last minute back to the end of the marathon. You're damn fucking right I'm happy with how that did. Like, would it have been cool to see the boss gauntlet? Of course I am. Was I still a little disappointed that they fucked over the boss gauntlet again? Of course I am. But am I unhappy at how we did? Hell no. Like, literally, as soon as, like, Amon was done, I literally fairly certain I said to, like, Bobby, we're going to focus on Baldur's Gate 3. Like, at this point, like, we're not going to get the boss gauntlet. Focus full on Baldur's Gate 3. Like, I want to see Baldur's Gate 3. I have a nice story about the Baldur's Gate 3 runners. We were chilling in the, PC practice room, where that was the point where all my controllers started to fucking break on me. And literally, like, they were doing their practice and watching the event, and they said something along the lines of, I really feel for the Lost Judgment runner because their incentive is never going to get met. And I was just sat next to them. I just said out loud, tell me about it. And it's like, oh, you're the Lost Judgment runner. Yeah, that's me. Yeah, that's me. The Baldur's Gate 3 runner, May, she literally said to me, what you should do is go out on stage and immediately just say, fuck Baldur's Gate 3. Like, they were so cool about it. They were absolutely cool about it. And like, this is like it was no doubt that Baldur's Gate 3 was going to get met because it was like the big game at the time. And like, I literally said, you know, I want to see that run in. It was the same with like Half-Life Alyx VR, like previously with like the boss gauntlet incentive. Like, I want to see these bonus games. Like, I want to see these games. I like Baldur's Gate 3. I want to see it. And I know the run was going to do well for GDQ. Like, I'm not upset at trying to raise money for other runs at GDQ. It's how it happens, you know? Like, I think we can absolutely have a conversation about how I think that the incentive game stuff is a bit too much, and I'd like to see GDQ, like, move away or find a way to move away from it, but it still makes them money. That's the thing. It still makes them a lot of money for charity. So I don't have a good suggestion of what they could do instead of that, but it's definitely something that I wouldn't mind them, like, moving away from just a little bit. But it's like, it's one of those things that I don't mind raising money because it's raising money for charity. Would it be cool to show off more on my run? Of course it fucking would be. Am I a little upset they did it to the boss gauntlet twice? Damn right I am, but it's fucking funny. It's very fucking funny. And again, after it happened, I've had apologies from GDQ about it. That's the difference. Like, what you don't see is that in my DMs, I have apologies from GDQ about it. Like, everyone thinks that, you know, oh, GDQ's just this heartless, faceless thing that just don't care about its runners. I got apologies for it.
Hey, Fruit. I hope you're feeling a little bit better today.
We're feeling worse, actually. That's the best part. Like, Robin next to the till on for 11 months. No, I feel worse. I feel fucking bad. I feel real bad. I actually feel way worse than, like, before. Actually, like, this flu is kicking my ass. I want to do metaphor, but I don't even think I can do metaphor tonight. I feel terrible. Like, you can probably tell from my face just sat here, like, I've been feeling really bad for the last, like, 30 minutes. Like, my temperature is going, I'm starting to sweat, I'm having hot flushes, I'm feeling fucking bad. My nose has been worse than yesterday. Ugh, I'm feeling real bad, chat. He said he's worse. No, I feel worse. My nasal passages are way more, like, congested than yesterday, which is bad. I really was hoping yesterday I'd be able to, like, kick the last bit out of my system, but I wasn't able to. So, fuck. I'm still dosed up on fucking cold and flu medicine while still just sounding like I'm gonna explode with snot at any second now. Ugh. Metaphor is very good at the moment. I've only done the first major dungeon. but it's very good. If you like Atlus RPGs, you'll love Metaphor. Simple as that. It feels fresh because of the fact that it's probably the fantasy setting, which is good. But it feels fresh, even though it's like very, very ingrained in like, you know, what Atlus do with their RPGs and how they know how to make their RPGs. I don't think I'm fully in the bit yet where it fully opens up to me. I think we're just getting to that. It does the Atlus thing again of like, you know, it keeps you on a very linear path at first, then all of a sudden, hey, here's access to the city. You can go and spend your time how you want to do it. And I think it's still a little on rails here, and I think it's about to get to... Feel free to say if I'm correct or not, chat, but I feel like once the first dungeon is over, that's when it's going to give me full control. Because, like, it's giving me a lot of control at the moment. Like, we're starting to get side quests. One of them's giving me a new dungeon. But I feel like this, after the first dungeon, is going to be the point where, you know, what your social links to your followers in the game are. It's going to give me more freedom to do things. It's going to give me, like, longer deadlines. I feel like this is the point where I'm at now. Which is kind of similar with Persona 5. It does open up a lot? Yeah. I'm not surprised, because that's how Persona 5 does it. That's how Persona 4 does it. It's how Persona 3 does it. It's just how, like, you know, like an Atlus RPG does it. Like, I'm not surprised about that. That's why I don't mind knowing about that. Like, it's part and parcel for an Atlus RPG, you know? So... yeah, exactly. Based on Avatar's show. Like, if you've ever played an Atlus RPG, you know what that early game is like. Lots of exposition on the world, lots of good world building, lots of character building, getting you introduced to, like, your basic, like, party. Obviously, as the game's going to go on, I'm going to get more party members. You know the drill. It's an Atlus RPG. You know? It's following the same kind of, like, beats gameplay path-wise, but everything feels fresher just because this is a fantasy world, you know? I'm just still curious if they're gonna, like, stick the landing or not, because, like, there's a lot of very heavy themes in Metaphor, like prejudice, racism. Like, there's a lot of exceedingly heavy themes that, like, it just throws at you constantly because of the fact that you are, you know, you're from a tribe of people that aren't seen anymore, you know? Like, it's literally dealing with that whole racist aspect, and, like, the whole, you know, plot is about the king has been assassinated. It happens at the very start. That's not a spoiler. The king's been assassinated. There is going to be a public vote on who is going to be, you know, the next leader, and, you know, it's not happened, but the game is very obviously building that up to being us in the running. It's very obviously going to go down the path of, you know, the MC is going to go in the running for, you know, being, you know, one of the main people. So, you know, there's a lot of very, very delicate things to talk about in this game that I think Atlus have fumbled the bag with in the past. Like, Atlus have been very bad towards, you know, LGBTQ people in Persona 4 and 5. So I'm really, really curious with something as delicate and, like important as a conversation as, like, the prejudice and the racism is. I'm very curious as to whether Metaphor's gonna fumble the bag. So the only way to do that is to play more of it. I have Tekken over the till in 5 months. No, I'm not. No, I'm not. I'm feeling worse. That's why after the GDQ, after the speedruns, I kind of just went on the GDQ rant. I needed that time to see how I was feeling, and I'm definitely not feeling good. I'm really not feeling good. I just haven't kicked the last flu out of my system. It sucks. It really sucks. I don't know how long I need. I just need, like, this flu. I said this before, when I came back from GDQ earlier this year, I had COVID. And we still did 12-hour streams of Infinite Wealth with fucking COVID. This flu has kicked my ass way harder than COVID did. Like, this flu has been fucking nasty. Like, this flu has been horrifically nasty. It's been worse than COVID was. Like, for me, the first bout of COVID was the worst. That almost had me hospitalized with how much it fucked my lungs. But the third round that I had this year, not that bad. Couple of days, feeling really rough. Still able to stream, like, a full Infinite Wealth playthrough. I have been able to do nothing with this flu. Like, I've lost part of my vision in my right eye for a little bit because of how fucked up my head has been from it. It's been awful. This flu has sucked. Like, don't get this flu. Like, for y'all out there, don't get this flu. Do your best not to get this flu. This flu that's going around is fucking terrible. Like, genuinely fucking terrible. One of the worst I've had. I think people misunderestimate how nasty the flu can be in the first place. But, like, yeah, it's been bad. It's been horrific. So, yeah. I'm all nasally. I'm all bunged up. I wanted to do some metaphor tonight, but like, yeah, I don't think I can carry on for much longer. I'm messed up. I definitely can't do a full run of this anymore. It sucks. I might just call it here for tonight. I don't want to like call it after like only a 3-hour stream, but like, I clearly need to rest up a little more. I clearly need just a little bit more rest. Like, this sucks. This really sucks. So, I hope you enjoyed the LAD when, you know, we actually had a good couple of attempts at Chapter 1 today. That wasn't too bad. Him couldn't get anything further because some moron forgot his shoes. Unbelievable. I hope you enjoyed the runs. I hope you enjoyed the talk about GDQ as well. I hope it's been useful for some people. Again, I know, you know, I know a lot of people don't want to submit to GDQ or, like, wonder about the process. And, like, everything that I've said isn't, you know, like, you know, gospel. I'm not part of the games committee. Like, I don't know, you know, how they do their criteria. But I'd like to hope at least that some of what I am saying is at least a little bit useful for anyone that wants to do future GDQ submissions. Again, my big tip would be no negativity towards the run, no like talking about, you know, downtime parts, and timestamps. Timestamps are great. Timestamps are really good. You want timestamps. Timestamps at least will let the games committee see, like, you know, hey, this bit's cool, that bit's cool, etc, etc. So, timestamps. So, YouTube, I'm gonna let you go first. Thank you very much for watching. I appreciate it. I'll hopefully see you tomorrow. I should hopefully see you tomorrow. Alright, I should be up early tomorrow because GDQ Tech Check. Should be a speedrun day tomorrow. Not sure what it's going to be. I'm still not... I'm also doing this as like a way to see if I'm healthy enough to do Infinite Wealth yet. I'm definitely not. Infinite Wealth being like a 7-hour run for me at the minute, so... That's good to know. We'll get into the Infinite Wealth next week. We might do Deadly Premonition tomorrow. I do need to start derusting Deadly Premonition. I'm gonna set it up for the GDQ Tech Check, so Deadly Premonition might be a very good idea. It might be Deadly Premonition tomorrow. YouTube, thank you for watching. Hope you've enjoyed. Again, I know we haven't got a run going, but this is what you don't see from the uploaded PB highlights. This is what happens in a speedrun. Like, there's a lot of resets, and some days, especially with LAD, things just don't go well. So, thanks for watching.